Another wonderful day here at Spillane Field following the off day. The Gatemen are back here in Wareham for the first time in what now, 6 days, Cory?
It's been a while.
It has. And tonight the Gatemen battle the Firebirds from Orleans. Welcome to the Gatemen pregame show alongside Cory Miller. I'm Josh Richardson. Cory, the Gatemen have won 10 of the last 12, really starting to peak at that right time. 10 games left in the regular season. This is kind of the biggest spot of the year for the Gatemen to keep rolling here hot.
It absolutely is. You said it, 10 games left, so that playoff picture really starts to take into shape right now. At 16-14, the good news for Wareham is that atop the division, you're kind of in control of your own destiny. You don't have to make up any ground. 7 wins away from clinching a postseason berth. Those top 4 teams in each division make it, and then just 8 wins away from clinching a potential division title. Obviously, that can change over the course of the next several days if teams lose as well. But again, the good news for the Gatemen, you're in the spot you want to be in with just 10 games left, first place in your division.
Well, the bad news can be kind of seen that this roster is just turning over. It seems like every day someone new is coming in, someone familiar is leaving. So when you get to this point in the season, trying to keep up that chemistry, that camaraderie that's been built over the last 30 games, more than that in terms of days, there's going to be a lot of new faces coming in here trying to get acclimated to this team.
Absolutely, especially on the pitching side. It kind of seemed like the Gatemen, based off of some recent performances from like Cooper Consiglio, Kane McDonald, Tate McGuire, they really had kind of the three-headed monster set for any potential postseason series. That kind of changes now with getting some new faces in. And listen, these guys are going to be thrown in the fire right away because they're going to need a lot of arms. A lot of guys are going to come in and out of the bullpen down the stretch run. So it's a tough spot to be in. The good news, the lineup has been pretty consistent. Not as much change over there. And if you're the Gatemen, listen, some of the guys who've been here the whole season have to lead the way and set the expectation.
Yeah, the roster has been pretty consistent overall, but in the pitching staff, that has been changing a lot. And for more on that, our sideline reporter, Rayna Maggelet.
Rayna Maggelet joins alongside Wareham Gatemen right-handed pitcher Tony Pluta. So Tony, you recently received the 2025 National Collegiate Baseball Writers Association Shopper of the Year Award presented to the best relief pitcher in college baseball. What was that accomplishment like to you?
It was amazing. It was just kind of a culmination of all my work for the previous 3 years, in college, so it was just an amazing feeling.
You recently just announced you are going back to Tucson for a 3rd season. What mentorship have you received from Coach Chip Hill?
It's been amazing. He's probably one of the best head coaches in the game, and he's just got so much experience at all levels of baseball, so it's been amazing.
You are majoring in aerospace engineering back at the University of Arizona. Walk me through that balance of academic and athletic work life.
Right, so basically I don't have a ton of free time, so I just have to get my work done, for school when I'm not at the field and make sure that I dedicate my time at the field to getting better. So I just have to do a little bit of time management.
There you go. Well, thank you so much. Thank you.
Thank you.
For the first time in 6 days, we're finally back at Spillane Field. A beautiful night for baseball between the Orleans Firebirds and your West Division leading Wareham Gatemen. Alongside Cory Miller, I'm Josh Richardson. Cory, now Orleans in 4th place in the East. Gatemen, of course, on top of that West. Really red-hot Gatemen squad, 10 of the last 12. But you can't, kind of look past this Orleans team despite what the record and their positioning says.
No, you can't, because these are the 2 hottest teams across the Cape League. Obviously, in terms of division standings, Orleans, when you look at the teams above them, just been in a tough spot because of the dynamics of the rest of the division. But over the past 10 games, these are the only 2 squads throughout the whole league that have a record above 500. So it's going to be a tough test for this Gatemen squad. They've won the last 2 matchups against the Firebirds, but still, it's the hottest team besides yourselves in the Cape League, so a tough test tonight.
Yeah, even with that in 4th place, just 1 point behind first. It's a 3-way tie atop the East Division. Harwich, YD, and Brewster. On the west side, Wareham's got a nice, comfortable lead, at least at this point in the season.
They absolutely do, and they can only really serve tonight to continue and increase that cushion, which no matter how you slice, it's going to serve to your benefit because, listen, you're playing really great baseball, and you've shown no signs of relenting now down the stretch. But there's always that possibility for a couple-game stretch where maybe you drop a couple, you just lose some close games, and in a division where everything is just so tight together, any kind of separation and any kind of wiggle room is going to be a good thing.
Yeah, so finally, Bourne and Harwich had that makeup game. So that was kind of that one thing that the Gatemen were waiting on. Was it going to be a 2-point lead or a 4-point lead over Bourne? It ends up being 4. So that's 2 games, every game, 2 points for, divisional standings and whatnot. So now you have that lead. You've played Bourne 4 times this season. You're 1-3, so getting that cushion with 10 games left is so important if they want to make the playoffs, and B, want to be that top seed in the West.
Yeah, absolutely. Harwich definitely helped the Gatemen out last night to keep that distance at what it is in those West Division standings. And Bourne, obviously, even with the Bourne win, a Gateman loss, it wouldn't change anything up in terms of first place, second place. But if you're the Gatemen, just continue to add to that gap. Why not get to that magic number faster and faster? Guys coming in, guys going out. Again, it only serves to your benefit the easier you make this. Ryan Smythe talked about it. Despite the fact they played so well, they have to keep their foot on the gas. Because, listen, it's only 10 games, but 10 games, a lot can change. So despite the fact that we're nearing the end of the regular season, a lot can change.
Well, think back to where we were last week. Gatemen were playing the Kettleers in Cotuit, and guess what happened? That was first and second in the West. Wareham won Cotuit too. Wareham beats Cotuit, and then where do the Kettleers go? All the way down into the cellar. And now, again, there's a little bit more separation, but you don't want to tempt fate at this point in the year.
You really don't, because, again, as I said earlier, the fact that all of these teams are so tightly packed in terms of points, a couple wins and losses change everything. And you mentioned we saw that with Cotuit because everyone was so closely together. One loss, all of a sudden you go from second or tied to first to last, and that's the spot you really don't want to be because you miss the playoffs. So, listen, the Gatemen would love to win the division. There's no doubt about it. But I think that's goal number one. But you also just need to stay in that top 4 because once you get to the playoffs, 3-game best-of-3 format, anything can happen at that point.
Anything can happen. I mean, that happened with Harwich last year, 2-17 during the month of July. Then they end up winning the entire thing. Now, the Gatemen is starting to think like, okay, maybe that's going to be the trend. 0-5 at the beginning of the 7th month of the calendar year. Since then have really turned it around, just trying to ride this hot streak throughout the rest of the regular season, then hopefully for a playoff push.
You said it, the rest of the regular season. Again, 10 games may not sound like a lot, but it can play out to be a lot. Ryan Smythe has talked about that. Everyone's aware of how well Wareham has played, but the job's not done. You have to keep your foot on the gas. The Gatemen last year really got hot early in the summer, but then it kind of faded towards the end of the summer. So as of right now, things are clicking. They're playing well in the right time of the year. Just have to keep that going. 10 more regular season games.
Well, one of the reasons the Gatemen have been playing so well is the guy on the mound tonight for Wareham, both at the plate and on the bump. Caden McDonald, the two-way superstar for the Gatemen, gets the start today, his 4th straight start of the season.
Yeah, two-way superstar. You really can't sum it up much better than that. 5 no-hit innings last time he got a start against Brewster. That's pretty good, and he really has been doing it on both sides of the ball. Tonight, really a true two-way test because he's going to be hitting 4th and pitching in the same game, not just one or the other in one game. For McDonald, he's got a great fastball, got a great breaking ball. It's all about how can he keep hitters guessing and off of that fastball.
Yeah, you mentioned that 5 no-hit innings, 6 strikeouts against Brewster. You go back to the start before that, it was against Orleans at Eldridge Park. Gateman came away with a 10-2 win over the Firebirds in just a 6-inning shortened game. He went 5 innings, struck out 2 batters, and got the win as well. So we look at the lineup for the Firebirds trying to beat him. It starts with Anthony Potestio, the right fielder. Alejandro Garza, Elijah Ickes hit 2-3. In the middle of the order, Robbie Levy. He's been a Gateman killer so far this season. We'll get to him in his first AB. Ryan Kucherek, 5. Tyler Myatt, the new guy for the Firebirds. He hit 6th. Rounding out the order, Cashel Duggar, Dawson Bryce, and Javar Williams for the Firebirds.
When you look at how this Firebirds team has really gotten hot and stayed right in the mix of things in that East Division during the month of July, a lot of it's their offense, and the numbers are interesting because it's a team that's still dead last in average, but now the only team that they trail in terms of runs scored this summer, the Gatemen. So offense, especially June, early July, was a point of kind of struggle for the Firebirds. But here recently, they've got it going. Despite what some of the metrics and the numbers may say, they score runs, even if it's not pretty sometimes.
Well, a lot of that you mentioned, not that high in batting average, but they draw the most walks of any team across Cape Cod, 150 so far this summer. So something to watch out for. See if McDonald can have that control tonight that he has so many times. First pitch at 6:01 is taken on the corner for a called strike, and we're underway from Spillane Field. McDonald's been so good this season. Now ahead in the count on Potestio. So far against the Gatemen this summer, he's 0 for 6 with a walk. There have been a couple of these guys that have been on either end of that spectrum, either so good or so bad. Fly ball into left field. That's Easton Breifogel, one away. So Breifogel in left. Let's take a look at the defensive alignment. Hayden Yost in center, Chase Cruson in right, Colby Turner at third, Chris McHugh at first, and then back up the middle, Chris Ramirez and Braden Randall, shortstop and second. Eris Rivera behind home plate, his first action of the season for Wareham. Here's Alejandro Garza. This is downstairs.
This will be an interesting start for McDonald because, as you talked about, he faced Orleans just a couple starts ago. Listen, there were some different names in that lineup, but also a lot of carryovers that faced him, like some of these top names to begin the Firebirds lineup.
Pitch misses downstairs. It's 2-0 on Garza. Comes in lineup-wise, hitting .316. That's a top of this Orleans lineup. Yeah, a couple guys that will get another crack at McDonald. To a pitch into center field. Yost under it. 2 away.
A good start for McDonald, just attacking hitters. A couple of fly balls, not hit particularly well right at players defensively. And last time against Orleans, the Gatemen staked him to a 7-0 first inning lead after Wareham struck first.
Yeah.
That's obviously not possible tonight, at least initially, because Orleans is batting first. But again, if you're McDonald, you showed in that start you could go deep into games, 5 innings in consecutive starts.
He can get through this first inning solid. Be a pretty good start for the righty. Now here's Elijah Ekus. We talked about some of the guys that are going to get another AB against McDonald here. Ekus scored 1 of 2 runs in that contest the last time these two teams played. It was a solo home run. The other was from Dawson Bryce. It ended up being an inside-the-park home run, but some visibility in center field certainly prevented Hayden Yost from being at his full strength defensively. That one a fog-shortened game. 1-1, swing and a miss.
Yeah, the fog definitely impacting that inside-the-park homer. And we've talked about how, listen, the more hitters face pitchers, tendencies tend to go in favor of the hitters a lot of the time. But if you're McDonald, the stuff you have and the way you've pitched may not be the case.
1-2 in the air to shallow left field. Now calling off Breifogel is Yost for out number 3. 3 flyouts for Caden McDonald, but the Firebirds retired in order here in the first. Gatemen coming up to bat on Cape League TV.
Wareham-based AD Makepeace Company, founded in 1854, is North America's largest cranberry grower and recognized leader in environmentally responsible real estate development and land stewardship. For 171 years, AD Makepeace Company has supported community events and organizations like your Wareham Gatemen. Visit admakepeace.com to learn more.
Cape Cod 5 is proud to be the official banking partner of the Cape Cod Baseball League. Cape Cod 5 offers a broad range of financial products and services tailored for every stage in your financial journey. Reach out to us. We're here to help.
For a good piece of glass, call Abby, located at 3 Tyler Ave in East Wareham. Call Abby Glass and Locks about getting a free quote for your windows, doors, locks, and other glass needs.
Here at the Mass State Lottery, we know there's no bigger win than the $1 billion we provide each year to support all 351 cities and towns in Massachusetts. Now that's how we all win. The Mass State Lottery. Welcome to the state of winning.
Took Caden McDonald just 10 pitches to get out of that first inning. 3 flyouts for the righty. Now the Gatemen come up to bat for the first time tonight, facing righty Jake Bean on the mound that so far for Orleans hasn't had the most productive start to his Firebirds career.
He has not 2 games, 1 start, and he's only pitched 4 1/3 innings, so it'll be interesting to see how he fares tonight. Kind of this second start, third appearance where you think they're trying to just build him up over the course of the summer, now late stages of the summer. But this is a guy at Louisville now. He's transferring from Kent State. All MAC selection this past spring. He started 15 games, so he has that ability to go deep into games. Obviously, the hits have been more of the challenge. He's only allowed one walk, but a chance for the Gatemen to get some early offense.
Yeah, definitely an opportunity for Wareham to get on the board early, something the Gatemen have been so good about during this hot streak. 10 of the last 12 wins for Wareham. It starts off with Braden Randall. Behind him, Hayden Yost, Chris McHugh hitting third. Those are the three due up for the Gatemen in the first. First pitch, fastball outer corner, strike one. Braden Randall back up to bat, just in that consistent leadoff spot for the Gatemen this summer. He's been so good. 2 for 4 with a double against Chatham back on Tuesday. 1-1.
Unless there's a situation where he just needs a day off, I doubt the rest of the way we're really going to see him out of that leadoff spot. There's no reason we talked about to change it. Just playing so well.
It's up to 292 on the summer. 1-1 fouled back. 350 on base. And again, he's not somebody that's going to wow you with his power, but he'll find gaps. He'll rope some down the line. Still yet to leave the yard. He got close. He had a triple earlier this season. That was back against Brewster. But a doubles machine. And he gets a hold of one. 1-2 fouled away. Count remains.
Those 8 doubles that he has this summer lead the team. He has the triple, too. So, yeah, despite the lack of kind of home run power, the ability to get extra base hits and still elevate that slugging percentage to the best of his abilities. Really just a great asset, top of the order.
1-2 pitch, chopped foul again.
And this is the other thing he can really do. Sometimes he'll ambush you, go after the first pitch, and poke a base hit into the outfield. But at the same time, if he gets behind, he can just battle and continuously foul off pitches. Even if the at-bat results in an out, he's going to see a lot of pitches, which is just the very thing you really ask for no matter what from your leadoff guy if he doesn't get on.
This is high, 2-2. Yeah, when the Gatemen played the Whitecaps in Brewster a couple weeks ago, Randall exited the game early, but in his first 2 at-bats, saw 23 pitches from Lance Davis, who before that had completely shut the Gatemen down. Got a piece of it. Davis was 4 perfect in his first appearance against Wareham, and then about a week later he gets the start. Randall sees 23 pitches. Gatemen get on top early, hold the lead, take it 4-3. Here's pitch number 8. Over to first. One away.
Again, it does result in an out, but it's still a productive at bat in my eyes because 8 pitches when as a pitcher you're trying to average about 15 per inning max. It really kind of sets you behind, and if you're being, it can also kind of frustrate you a little bit because a guy who Orleans is just trying to work up and throw more and more innings, that becomes challenging when right out of the get-go you're throwing more pitches than you ideally would like to.
It's Dawson Bryce over at the bag. Rest of the infield, Alejandro Garza, Elijah Ickes, and Ryan Kucherak on the infield. Hayden Yost takes a fastball right down the middle for strike one. Robbie Levy, Javar Williams, and Anthony Potestio in the outfield. Cashel Duggar does the catching with Bean on the mound. Swing and a miss, 0-2.
So we've really seen 2 teams primarily more than the rest, 9 other squads across the Cape League, shift the Gatemen. The righty Red Sox are one, and this Firebirds team is another, especially against lefties. Some righties too, but they're really aggressive in playing to that pull side and trying to eliminate that base hit.
Yeah, other than that, most teams just kind of play straight up. Yost gets a piece of it. But it makes sense. I mean, when you have the opportunity to, why wouldn't you?
And it's interesting because they'll do it against some guys who are so good at going the other way, like Chris Ramirez. I'd be interested to see if they shift him because he just goes to right field all the time.
0-2 rings in and hits. Looks like the knob of Yost's bat. That was either his hand or the knob, and it looks like it's the latter.
Oh, Ryan Smythe asking just for confirmation about that.
I mean, Yost didn't wince in pain at all, so I would imagine probably the knob.
Yeah, and kind of the clicking noise it made if it hit either his hand or his wrist probably wouldn't have made such a loud noise as opposed to the knob of the bat.
This will be the one thing tonight. It's a beautiful night here from Spillane Field, but there's a lot of wind. It was windy pregame when we got here, about 2 o'clock. We definitely see a few balls fly tonight. 2-2, swing and a miss. And along that same line, Cory, Gatemen have the most home runs in Cape Cod. You could probably pick any hitting statistic, and they're going to be first across the league. Orleans, on the other hand, pitching-wise, the Firebirds give up the most home runs. So if that isn't a match made in heaven for Wareham tonight, then I really don't know what is.
Especially here, you mentioned the wind as well, but I think, listen, this isn't a hitter's ballpark, but the Gatemen have really gotten used to hitting and hitting for power at Spillane Field.
Here's Chris McHugh, takes a ball downstairs. McHugh's one of those guys that has certainly had his fair share of long balls this summer. He's up at 5. Team lead. Swing and a miss.
He's really gotten hot lately, too. Someone with 15 RBIs who's just been such a great run producer, anchor that is in the middle part of this lineup, whether it's a single, double, and those long balls, driving runs in.
Fastball for strike 2. It's one of the benefits for him hitting third right in front of Caden McDonald. He said it himself. He knows with McDonald hitting right behind him, he's going to see a lot of pitches in the zone for him to get a good swing at. Missed it there. 2 Ks for Jake Bean, and Orleans retires Wareham in order in the first. 3 up, 3 down as we head to the second on Cape League TV.
Here at the Mass State Lottery, we're known for our monster wins. But there's no bigger win than the $1 billion we provide each year to support all 351 cities and towns in Massachusetts. In our game, we know that supporting local businesses and helping communities is how we all win. Because at the lottery, we're all playing for the home team. The Mass State Lottery. Welcome to the state of winning.
A+ repairs smartphones, tablets, game consoles, and computers. Get it done right the first time.
Cape Cod Central Railroad is proud to sponsor the Wareham Gatemen for the 2nd year in a row. Experience the scenic beauty of Cape Cod like never before. Journey through picturesque marshes, cranberry bogs, and dunes on our historic rail line. Whether you're savoring a 5-course gourmet dinner, enjoying a Sunday brunch with a live jazz band, or bringing the family on a narrated excursion, there's a ride for everyone. Departing from Hyannis and Buzzards Bay, visit capetrain.com to book your ride today.
Quick first inning, both sides retired in order, so the Firebirds coming up tonight, 4, 5, 6, Levy, Kucherak, and Myatt. Myatt's going to make his debut against the Gatemen tonight, his season debut for the Firebirds. Someone who's not and who the Gatemen are pretty familiar with, Robbie Levy. So far in 3 games, he's 6 for 7 with 3 doubles.
We talked about Kahiwa Loy of the Bourne Braves and what a Gateman killer he's been. But across division, too, Robbie Levy, another guy you really just have to circle if you're McDonald on the mound. And you look at those first innings, that first inning for Caden, 3 flyouts, and to me, that's a sign that Orleans may be aggressive early in count, so just something to keep in mind with the hot-hitting Levy up at the plate.
Clear sky evening from Spillane Field. Swing and a miss for Levy. He's wasting no time. He comes in just a hair under 300, 297 on the summer. Last game against Brewster, he was 0 for 4 with 3 Ks. So if there's any condolence for how well he's been playing against Wareham this summer, maybe not so well as of late.
And you've seen it early this at-bat. 2 pitches, 2 swings, breaking ball, fastball.
0-2, chopped foul. We'll do it again.
And just taking note of McDonald, these guys are going to be in swing mode from the get-go. That doesn't mean you try and nibble and work too far out of the zone, but at the same time, not everything has to be in the zone if they're going to expand from the get-go.
Swing and a miss. Breaking ball in the dirt fooled Levy. First K of the night for McDonald.
And you saw it right there, a really great pitch. 2 strikes, he went a little out of the zone. Levy expanding the strike zone, coming up empty on that pitch. McDonald's stuff has looked sharp so far, whether it's fastball, breaking ball, off speed.
Kucherak waves and misses on a breaking pitch. It's 0-1. So you go from 6 for 7 against the Gatemen to 0 for 5 with 2 strikeouts in Kucherak. Not a strong start for him. McDonald trying to make quick work. It's been so sharp, hasn't he? 0-2 pitch, just high.
You don't want to obviously be a part of an announcer jinx, but he's just picked up where he left off against Brewster his last outing with those 5 no-hit innings.
This is away. 2 balls, 2 strikes on Kucherak, hitting an even 200 this summer. Rising junior at Northwestern this past season, 289, 18 home runs. 2-2 pitch. Comes inside, gets a part of the bat, be a foul ball. It's another one, Cory.
Yeah, not often. I was about to say we see that in the span of 1/2 inning, then another. Just such a small part of the bat to really get when there's a lot of body you could hit instead.
Kucherak started the summer 0 for 16. Breaking ball misses high, and he's worked it full.
He's done a nice job.
Yeah, he started 0 for 16, so even with that batting average up to 200 over his last 19 at-bats, been pretty solid. 3-2 misses away. Make that 51 walks on the summer for Orleans. Firebirds still lead Cape Cod in that category, showing it there.
And it was a good at-bat for Kucherak because, again, you go 1 through 4 in this lineup, capped off by Robbie Levy. The Firebirds were swinging at pretty much anything close, and if you're McDonald, why change up that approach? See if Kucherak will continue to expand the zone. He didn't laid off some close pitches, and he gets the Firebirds their first base runner of the night.
Now here's the big wild card that nobody has a whole lot of scouting on. It's Tyler Myatt. Takes the first pitch downstairs. Myatt played at Walter State this past season. He was named the JUCO Player of the Year. And now he takes his talents from there. Where's he going to go? Oh, Tennessee. 1-1.
Some pretty good upward mobility right there. Offers from LSU and Texas A&M. Those are 3 great schools to have to choose from. An embarrassment of riches.
Well, he hit 484 with 31 home runs this past season in JUCO. So how about that?
The Triple Crown across the league. Average homer RBI leader. I mean, just all around, what a season for him. And what a late season addition if you're the Firebirds.
Good bat to pick up. Check over, not in time.
Because he was a guy who was draft eligible, so was hopeful maybe he was going to hear his name called. But again, just
tough
another
out of
boost.
a JUCO.
It is. Just another
if
boost
he puts up
Orleans.
those numbers for Tennessee. In the league for long. Swing and a miss.
Masterful at bat from McDonald right there. When he's at his most effective, it's when he's letting the fastball and curveball work off of one another. You saw a curveball on that weak kind of dribbler foul, and then went elevated fastball. Just the timing and the difference in the velocity, making that strikeout happen. Really nice at bat.
Cashel Duggar comes up with 2 outs. 1-0. Duggar's been solid behind the plate. 224. 8 walks, 7 RBIs. Good backstop for this Firebird squad. High in the air, shallow infield. Everybody's calling for it. Who wants it? It'll be Colby Turner. Out number 3. Orleans leaves a 1-out walk stranded. And the Gatemen come up to bat here in the second, still tied 0-0 on Cape League TV.
Insurance has been servicing Wareham and the surrounding areas since 1980. Call Legacy Insurance for all your insurance needs at 508-295-1315. Legacy Insurance, your hometown agency.
Get ready for big results with our small machines. With more power, performance, comfort, and savings. They're ready for every job. And we're ready with plenty of inventory, the best support in the business, same-day parts availability, and locations across the Northeast. So you can always be ready to work. Milton Cat, always ready.
When it comes to protecting your home, car, or business, trust the team that's been covering our community for generations. For personalized coverage and service that you can count on, the choice is easy. It's Morse, of course. Visit morseins.com today.
Back at Spillane Field, we're heading into the home half of the second in a scoreless ball game. Wareham coming up to the plate. Cory, we've made so much note this summer about everybody that's left the Gatemen, whether it be for draft purposes or needing to report early back to their collegiate seasons. Ty Daly, Levi Clark, Hunter Carnes, a lot of these guys for the Gatemen. What we haven't mentioned as much is everybody else that's had to come in and replace them. So in the last 3 days, the Gatemen have all activated Cannon Clayton, Tommy Egan, Eris Rivera, and Tony Pluta. Rivera in the lineup today. It's his debut. Pluta pitched against Chatham back 2 days ago for his summer debut. We still haven't seen Clayton and Egan yet, but just so many new faces getting added to this Gatemen squad over these last couple days because they just need to replace so much. The roster changeover in Cape Cod is nothing short of endless.
Yeah, it's something that every team is undergoing. And you mentioned some of those names we've talked about who the Gatemen have lost. Those 3 guys, Daly, Clark, Carnes, a lot of hitters, I think, were some of the big names early in the season. But now we're seeing there's some changeover with the rotation. And the Gatemen have really been able to weather that storm in terms of the offense and replacing those key bats. It'll be a big question now, how do they do that on the other side with pitching? I think Tony Pluta, you talked about, we saw him the other night. He was an all-star last year. I think Wareham more or less knows what they're getting from him, just a dominant shutdown back end of the bullpen reliever. He's a reliever of the year. I mean, why not? But Rivera behind the plate, obviously. Interesting to see how he produces now with Levi Clark and Hunter Carnes gone. And 2 more arms to fill some pretty big shoes because this Wareham pitching staff lately has been lights out.
Fastball on the corner to McDonald. It's 3-1. That's been the thing is, you mentioned it, it was a lot of roster or, hitting turnover at the beginning of the season, and now lately, more in the rotation. The bullpen, Cooper Consiglio released. 3-1 chopped foul. So Consiglio's last appearance of the season goes 5 innings, 2-hit ball against the Anglers. It's a good way to end it off, and definitely another face that the Gatemen aren't going to want to see leave.
Yeah, after 4 shutout innings, his last start against Falmouth, lowering that ERA to 2.55 on the summer.
It's a good campaign. 3-2 over to short. Elijah Ikis in time.
You look at Consiglio, he'd been so consistent as a starter. Mentioned the 2.55 ERA. That was 6th best amongst all Cape League pitchers who started at least 3 games. So a guy who was just so durable on the mound, could give you a lot of depth. And while some guys went to the bullpen, some went from the bullpen, became starters, he was just kind of that consistent starter and a guy who was getting hot at the right time, just like the Gatemen team. But you really thought maybe you had potential for great postseason arm. Now it's just a shame you're going to be without him.
Well, the good news for the Gatemen is the heart of this order has really not seen any changeover. Can pencil in Chris McHugh, Caden McDonald, and Colby Turner 2-3-4, 3-4-5 just about every single night. Here's Turner now. He's behind 0-2.
That's the thing. I mean, besides maybe a name change day to day here and there, I think the main thing, if you're Ryan Smythe and probably not the top of the order, it's just going to be reshuffling every day.
Soft flare. 2 away.
We saw more of that shifted infield right there. even though Colby Turner has really worked, especially in batting practice, to go the other way. Again, Orleans is going to shift more times than not, whether it's a righty, whether it's a lefty. And right now the Gatemen hitters, they're aggressive early too, but credit Jake Bean. He's been around the zone throughout the first 5 hitters he's faced, and he's looked sharp.
Certainly didn't matter for the Gatemen the last time these two teams played. New Orleans shifted. 10-2 Gatemen win. Cruson takes a ball inside, 1-0.
And this is interesting now because there's no shift on a Cruson, at least with no strikes on him. But a lot of his hits this summer have been to the pull side.
2-0.
So it's obviously the question of...
It's interesting what goes into that decision-making
the scouting
process.
report. Are they looking at kind of the wider, the more games that were played this spring for a lot of these guys, or are they factoring summer trends as well?
That's rocketed down that right field line. Foul. It's a good example of a pull side hitter in Cruson there. He's at 262 this summer, 343 on base percentage. He's been right in the middle of that Gateman order for a majority of the season. He's had his ups and downs, but when he gets hot, his bat stays there. 7-game hit streak at one point. 3-1.
And it's his ability to, his hitter profile to kind of factor into the lineup in a variety of different spots. No matter where Ryan Smythe wants to pencil him in, he's a versatile hitter in terms of his skill set.
5-pitch walk for Cruson. 2-out, runner on.
Because these on-base skills, they play at the top of the order. They play anywhere, obviously. I mean, we haven't seen the pop in a game, but he had the homer in the All-Star game, so you know that's there too. And that's just a great at-bat. 5 up, 5 down. You're a team to start your night on the offensive side to finally get a runner on base. Now give a guy in Chris Ramirez a chance who's been hitting so well to keep the inning going.
Yeah, that's what you're kind of waiting on from Cruson when he's in that middle of the order. Had the power in the All-Star game, home run. No long balls yet this year. Chris Ramirez hitting machine. Breaking ball down the middle. He's at 478 this summer. Of course, hasn't played in nearly as many games as everyone else, but even still. Tonight, his 9th of the year. 0-2.
And no surprise, no shift against him. Obviously, there's a runner on at first, but still Ramirez just so good, as I mentioned earlier, going the opposite way, dunking those hits into right field.
So many times this summer. Either along that right field line, check over, not in time, or into that right center field gap. He's got a pair of doubles this summer. Only one game of his 7 starts was he hitless. It was against YD on Monday. He was 0 for 3. Soft chopper to second. Easy play for Garza to end the inning. Gatemen leave a 2-out walk stranded. We head to the 3rd, still scoreless.
If you need to dig, lift, move, grade, clear, or cut, pump, weld, clean, light, and just about anything else, dial up the rental source for the newest and the most reliable equipment in New England. Staffed with equipment and construction experts, Milton Rents, your local source.
As the sponsor of tonight's game, PCT Federal Credit Union is proud to root for the home team. We're thrilled to offer great rates on auto loans, home equity lines of credit, and so much more. Visit us on Cranberry Highway in West Wareham.
Reed Custom Soils, a subsidiary of the AD Makepeace Company, is New England's most experienced precision soil blender. Reed is the leading provider of the lightweight planting soil for green roof installations, stabilized stone dust for nature paths and pedestrian walkways, bioretention rain garden soils, and specialized soils for athletic fields, including your newly renovated Spillane Field. To learn more, visit reedcustomsoils.com.
Shameless Plug Electric, hitting home runs on every job. Wareham's top choice for electrical work. Call Shameless Plug Electric.
Top of the third, and Caden McDonald back out there. He's looked sharp through 2 innings, Cory.
Boy, has he. 2 strikeouts. That second inning as well. Been a lot of aggressive Firebirds hitters, and McDonald has used that to his advantage. He's located well, but not been afraid to throw some pitches just out of the zone as well. The fastball is working up and down the zone. He's worked in the breaking ball off of that. Really been sharp so far.
8-9-1 for the Firebirds. Bryce Williams and Potestio. First pitch, wave and a miss from Dawson Bryce. He's at 217 this summer. He's got a home run. That home run was inside the park at Eldridge Field. And it was one of those situations, Cory, the fog was coming and the game ended up getting shortened. His home run came in the 5th. And it was a spot where, at that point, it had really been creeping in out from center field towards the infield. And Hayden Yost just couldn't get a good read on the ball. It went over his head. When you have a 435 dead center, it's going to be tough to make that play. 1 away.
From the get-go in that game, fog was just kind of
felt inevitable.
Yeah, it was an immediate factor, and the Gatemen who, up until that point, those 2 Bourne games back around 3rd and 4th of July had really gotten the wrong end of the stick in terms of weather. So the fact that the Gatemen were able to get those 5 innings in and respond so emphatically and put the game out of distance early on, really nice to see. But, yeah, the fog, especially for those outfielders, not ideal.
Javar Williams takes a breaking ball for a strike. He had his best game yet this summer. Back on Tuesday, 2 for 3 with a steal, 2 RBIs, 1-1.
And it's a spot where, listen, up and down this Orleans order, maybe there's no one besides Garza. Levy's up there too, but there's not going to be the eye-popping numbers necessarily like the Gatemen have, but especially lately, they're finding ways to score runs.
Fly ball, shallow infield. Chris Ramirez calls off the troops. 2 away. Yeah, and that's the thing, and if that bottom of the lineup for the Firebirds starts to pick up some steam, get better over the course of this season, especially in the late stages, the top of the order has really been there the entire year and producing at a pretty high clip.
It really has been consistent. I mean, those first 4 names, Batistio, Garza, Ikas, Levy, obviously easy for us to recognize. I mean, these teams last played July 9th at Orleans, but still since then, they're still at the top of this order.
Potestio's second at-bat starts with a fastball. It misses away. He flew out to left to lead off the game.
And it's largely the same for the Gatemen, but still a good sign for both teams that they have these consistent options at the top of this order, especially down the stretch. It's not the time in the season where you really want to try and figure things out if they're not going well.
2-0 pitch, fastball, inner corner. Yeah, at this point, it's kind of either you have it or you don't. Just 10 games left in the regular season. Orleans fighting for that final playoff spot in the East. 2-2. Firebirds 15-13-2. Have a little bit of a lead on Chatham in last at the moment. A lot of time left. 2-2 pitch, fouled away.
And we talked about how packed together the West Division is, but it's the same thing in the East because the top 3 teams in that division points-wise are all tied, I believe 33, so it's equally as crowded in both divisions.
That'll change a little bit with 2 of those teams playing today. Breaking ball, got him looking. Perfect pitch on the corner for McDonald. His 3rd punch out of the night. And Orleans down in order in the 3rd.
Being a good personal injury attorney is very difficult. If you or a family member has been involved in an accident, hurt at work, suffered a slip and fall, or have been injured due to negligence of someone else, contact the lawyers at Reedy, Kiernan, and McNally, LLP today. They are experienced trial attorneys who practice in all of the courts in the Commonwealth. The firm has been recognized by Best Lawyers in America for outstanding legal representation. Contact Reedy, Kiernan, and McNally, LLP today. The firm is located at 267 Main Street in Wareham. Reedy, Kiernan, and McNally, LLP also has offices in New Bedford and Falmouth. Call 508-295-0286 or visit their website www.rkm-law.com.
Home half of the third starts 8-9-1 for Wareham, trying to break through, get that first run of the night. Breyfogle, Rivera, and Randall, two lefties sandwiching a righty in Rivera, making his Gateman debut this summer.
Good spot for a first hit or a first base runner. First time on base if you're Rivera, starting with Breyfogle, though. Through 2.5, it's been kind of an unconventional game between these two teams. Not that it could pick up offensively, but the last 3 meetings, double-digit runs between both of these squads they've combined for.
1-0 on Breyfogle. This is a guy for the Gatemen still waiting for his bat to pick up in game. He's at 212 on the summer. Came in about midway through the year. His first game of the summer came against Orleans. He had a triple.
Yeah, what an introduction he had in that game, that triple. He was an on-base machine. We saw him utilize that speed. He's a guy who's just kind of been banged up for the duration of the summer. Just hopefully got to participate in that home run derby, just post All-Star break now. Just hopefully getting consistent at bats helps.
Swing and a miss, 2-1. Yeah, the runner-up in the home run derby ended up having to go to a swing-off. It was him versus Kahio Aloy. He was seconds away from outright winning it in the final. Then Aloy, home run with a second left, tied it. Went to a swing off, and Aloy won 4-3.
And the thing with Breyfogle is, listen, obviously the average is down, but it feels like a lot of the games he's played in, he's had at least one really big hit. Maybe the line's 1-for-3, 1-for-4. But you talk about the Orleans game, the triple. Brewster nearly had that go-ahead home run in the 9th. Just trying to do it more consistently now.
2-2, wave and a miss. Third strikeout of the night for Bean. He's starting to get in a groove.
And it's tough when you're facing Bean on the mound, who's just throwing that two-seamer with that kind of movement late. Plenty of velocity from the righty. With that two-seamer moving away on lefties, a tough at-bat for some of the lefties. That two-seamer will be running into the righties.
Now we'll get our first look at Eris Rivera. Right-handed catcher. He'll split time with Drew Rogers. This is outside, 1-0.
And that's a position now. Rogers obviously had that great first at-bat as a Gateman, but no hits since. So if Rivera can start swinging the bat well, it might be his position to lose moving forward. The nice thing for the Gatemen, too, is that the way the rest of the offense is produced, you only kind of need a catch right now to be a defensive option, but still, you'd like some offensive production, no doubt.
Well, yeah, when you compare it to who was playing catcher for the Gatemen at the start of the summer. 2-0 misses high. 3 balls and no strikes on Rivera, the 9-hitter. This past year at UCF, his junior season, 281. A double, 9 hits total, 4 RBIs. Played in 20 games. He had 7 starts. 3-0 fouled away.
And he played briefly for the Gatemen last summer, so a guy they're somewhat familiar with. Just 5 games, he was 1 for 13 last summer, so limited action, but still, it's nice when you have to replace guys like Carnes and Clark to have someone who's somewhat familiar.
Breaking ball misses high. Good start for Rivera this summer for the Gatemen. He's on with a walk.
Nice at bat. Didn't see a whole lot to hit, but when you're facing a guy on the mound in Bean who's been dealing, just issued that one walk prior to this Rivera one, you'll take that out of the ninth spot in the order, first at bat of the summer, with things now turning over to Braden Randall at the top.
And if you're Rivera, you come in and you kind of see those names on the board, Levi Clark, Hunter Carnes, both hitting over 300, over 1,000 OPS for each of them. I mean, nothing short of spectacular for the Gatemen team. It's pretty big names and shoes to try and fill. Want to know?
I mean, Levi Clark, who hasn't played a game for the Gatemen in, at this point, a couple weeks since returning to Tennessee. Amongst qualified hitters, guys who have a minimum of 63 at-bats this summer, he leads the league in OPS. He still leads this team in runs, too.
1-1.
So obviously, it's a tough player to replace, but we haven't talked about it too much, I feel like, because the offense...
Because they've kept winning.
Exactly.
Which is insane. And then Hunter Carnes leaves, and they still keep winning. It's a lot of talent. Everybody just needed a chance to showcase it. 1-2 for Braden Randall. Grounded out in the first.
And that's nice. Again, I've talked about it before, but you take the pressure off of Rogers and Rivera when the rest of the lineup's producing. Not all the focus is on them.
Misses away. Randall ahead in the count. So let's think about this, Cory. We'll do a fun little exercise here. Let's say Clark stay, Hunter Carnes stay. The best nine-man lineup that we could make for the Gatemen as it stands right now. In the air to right field. Potestio's back. He looks up. It's gone. What a spot for Braden Randall's first homer of the season. 2-0, Gatemen on top here in the third.
Well, Josh, you asked for my ideal Gateman starting lineup.
How about him
He's
leading
going to be
off?
at the top. We talked about it. The wind's blowing out a little bit, more so to left field than right field, but there's been spots this summer where he's gotten under the baseball and driven it kind of to the warning track, but he got plenty of that one. It just kept carrying back at the wall. That's what happens when you put yourself in hitters' counts out of that leadoff spot. Got a pitch to hit. What a big spot for the first hit of the game. You said it, first homer for Randall this summer.
Here's Hayden Yost, 0-1. I mean, Randall this summer, he's hit so well, 292, but just not for a whole lot of power. He had the doubles, did all that. He had just one homer this past season at Ole Miss, 2 the year before. Right back up the middle and into center field.
And this is the thing about hitting. It's contagious. All of a sudden, you give a lot of credit to Rivera to get on base, shake things up out of the 9 spot, not someone Bean wanted to walk. Now Randall goes yard, and Yost just right back up the middle, a hanging breaking ball. He was ready for it. Almost caught Bean, back-to-back well-struck baseballs. After a very quiet first 2 innings, this Gateman offense has found its life.
And here comes a mound visit for Orleans. Talk things over with Bean on the mound with Chris McHugh up, and this is that part of the order that you don't want to mess around with. Got a runner on for McHugh, Caden McDonald on deck, barring a double play. That cleanup man will reach. So while Orleans talks about this on the mound, let's go through this. What do you think? So Randall leading off, I think that it was already kind of cemented in stone, but I think that's just the exclamation point.
It really is just kind of crazy because I know some people may roll their eyes, but I think overall this Gateman lineup has been so good start to finish. It almost feels like an all-star team when you assemble all the guys. I think Levi Clark for me second because he's an all-around player.
That's where he was hitting a lot of the time that he was here.
I'm going to put Ty Dowley third because you want a lefty to break up some of those righties then after. Well, you do have Randall at the top, but I like the lefty-righty-lefty.
First pitch to McHugh. Breaking ball finds the zone.
I'll probably go with, I mean, it's a toss-up, McDonald or McHugh. I guess I'll go with McDonald.
I'd probably keep McDonald in that 4. I agree 1 through 4.
And then put McHugh probably 5th.
I would keep Colby Turner 5th, and I would move McHugh 6th.
Okay. Yes, and then you still have Hunter Carnes. That's the thing.
I didn't even think about Hunter Carnes.
Yeah. I'd probably do, I guess I'd put McHugh 5th,
the way Turner's swinging 6. I feel bad putting Carnes
I'd
at
put
7th.
Hayden Yost 7th and then Hunter Carnes 8th.
Okay, yeah, I like that.
1 foul away.
Because you get another lefty in there, as
to
we've
break
talked
it
about.
up.
A lot of
because
righty
Yost
production.
has been so good defensively in center field as well. Like, just thinking about it batting-wise, it's pretty easy to say who the best 9 hitters for the Gatemen are, but at the same time, also got to factor in defense.
And then so
I
guess
think Chris Ramirez has to be, 1-2 downstairs, good block from Duggar.
And then the crazy thing is, you look at that starting lineup then there's still guys who aren't even included, like Van Cheyenne or Chase Cruzen. Colin Ritchie, who's been a little banged up lately, who has just gotten the power bat going. He's got 4 home runs. Yeah, so it's just like, no matter how you slice it, and this has been the thing for Ryan Smythe, you have a lot of options, especially right now, the way everyone's producing. You can't go wrong with any of them.
2-2, high in the air to center field. That's drifting into the alley. Williams back at the wall. He makes the catch. Nice snag from Javar Williams in center field right before that outfield wall. 2 away.
That's a heck of a play from Williams because he has such a long way to go. That center field here at Spillane Field, just so much ground. Another hanging breaking ball. It's just a hitter's dream when it sits up on a tee like that. McHugh tagged it for a lot, just unfortunately not the spot in the ballpark you want to hit it to. A lot of room out there. Credit Williams made a nice play, but another well-struck ball from Wareham.
And we haven't seen any home runs leave that portion of the yard yet. A little bit more towards right center, but that one nearly dead center.
Yeah, McHugh really the only one who – he had that one to left center in that Bourne game, but yeah, still not that dead center part. So he's tested it before. It's just tough. As you said, no one's been able to beat it. Yep.
That wind's blowing out. Could be a big spot for Caden McDonald. 2-0.
It is crazy how this inning has just completely changed. It's baseball, yeah, but the Gatemen really didn't have a single hard hit ball across the first 8 batters. Now all of a sudden things have changed drastically.
McDonald ropes the 2-2, or 2-0 rather, over to short. Across the diamond in time. That retires the side. But a 2-run tank for Braden Randall gets the Gatemen on the board early. 2-0 heading into the 4th.
Law. Live, life, law. Covering all residential and commercial real estate matters. You live life to the fullest and let us Sync Law. That's synklaw.com. Sync with an I, not a Y. Be selfish. We represent only you.
Sports Turf Specialties has set the standard for high-quality natural grass athletic field construction. As a full-service athletic field construction company, we specialize in design, build, and renovation of native soil, modified soil, and sand-based athletic fields. Our team will provide you with superior quality, expert guidance, and continuing support long after the completion of our project. We are proud to have built the infield for the Wareham Gatemen field. Go Gatemen.
If you can dream it, if you can cruise in it, if you can summer in it, fish from it, or take it for a day at the beach, we can protect it. The Baldwin Group, protecting the possible.
Fourth inning, and Caden McDonald has a little bit more run support now. 2-run home run from Braden Randall in the 3rd. And the Gatemen on top early. Let's take a look at some other scores around Cape Cod. Brewster and YD, that game already over. It's a 9-3 win for YD. So that kind of breaks up that tie atop the East. Katuitt up on Hyannis 3-0 in the 7th. Wareham, of course, on top of Orleans right here. Then Bourne up by 1 on Falmouth in the 2nd inning. That's 4-3. Chatham in front 1-0 on Harwich early as well. So a lot of big games. I mean, at this point, every game kind of seems like a big game seeding-wise, where everybody's going to end up in each division. And it's going to be a really tight race down the stretch for a bunch of teams, a couple trying to fight for that 1 seed in each of their respective divisions, others just trying to make the playoffs.
It really will be interesting down the stretch to see what the final standings look like. I highly doubt it'll look like where things stand today. And if you're the Gatemen, what you're just hoping for is that all the teams in the West Division just kind of beat each other up and
maybe pick up a win, also pick up a loss, because at that point it makes your job easier when there's not one or two teams that are just playing so well and it's just kind of 500 baseball across the board. Then you can really start to distance yourself and make it easier to clinch a playoff spot and hopefully, best case scenario, a division title as well.
Gatemen in front in the West, 16-14. Warren at 13-15-2. Just 4 points behind. Again, 2 points for a win, 1 point for a tie. Wareham, the only team without a tie in the league. Which is so interesting because there's been so many chances for them to end a game that way. 0-1 slicing into right field. Crusen's back and he makes the catch.
Talked about how in the bottom half of the third, what a great play Javar Williams made to catch that fly ball from Chris McHugh. Same thing right here. It's just a long way to go. And as an outfielder, when you're battling the sun, also in the back of your head is that outfield wall. You have a decent sense of where it is, but there's multiple thoughts going through your mind. Credit Crusen. Good jump. Great route to the ball. Made a nice catch.
1-0 on Ekis. So you look in the East, YD takes that win. They'll be at 35 points now. Brewster still at 33, Harwich at 33 as well, so a two-way tie for second. That could get broken with a Mariners win. 1-1. One and two. At this point, Gatemen just trying to focus on themselves at this point. No real need to worry about everyone else when you're in first.
Yeah, we talked about it pregame. Kind of your destiny lies in your own hands, which is what you want. You don't need to rely on help from other teams to make the playoffs.
It's one of the nice things about this win streak, 10 of the last 12. Just so up and down. I mean, a couple points that I know you and I looked at each other and we were like, well, it's another summer. They've turned it around. Soft liner over down that first baseline. It stays in fair territory. Big broken bat from Ekis. Wow. 2 away.
I don't know if I've really ever seen that before, where on a check swing, the shrapnel from the bat travels that far in front of the batter. I mean, just a fastball running up and in, that check swing.
And it stayed fair.
Yeah, it kind of catches the bat right on that breaking point right there. A lot of times you see some shrapnel like that, it's on a full swing, but just a crazy sequence right there.
Here's Levy with 2 away, 1-0. Yeah, just thinking back to that start in July, they were 6-7 after June, and 6-12, 5 straight to begin the month. Fly ball foul. And then that win streak started.
And that's the thing. There's got to be, and there is amongst especially the guys who have been here and endured that losing streak still on the team, an extra sense of gratification. You go from worst to first, and you've hung on to that top spot.
2-1. And that's the thing. A lot of these guys coming in, they weren't here for when the Gatemen lost 5 straight to begin July. They weren't here for trying to pick themselves out of that gutter in the West Division. 3-1.
And those are the guys you're going to be relying on to set the tone and really just maintain that same mindset of trying to win a championship, because some of these key players have exited, but doesn't mean you can't have that same championship mentality.
5-pitch walk. And a couple of those guys, Cory, really you look at this front end of the Gatemen lineup today. Randall's been here since day one. Yost has been here since day one. McHugh arrived a little bit late. McDonald, Turner, Crusen, all day one guys. They've been here through it all. And it just seems like every day they're getting a little bit better.
And at the same time, you have to give credit to what the coaching staff has been able to do. This kind of age of NIL and the rapid kind of carousel of changes, it's not easy for these guys. Ryan Smythe and the whole crew.
1-1. Breaking ball finds the corner on Ryan Kucherak. He walked in the second.
Because the coaching staff, that's where the mindset and mentality all starts, day in, day out. Your expectations and holding the team accountable.
1-1, wave and a miss. Fastball blew it by him. It's been a big talking point for a lot of coaches across Cape Cod. NIL, how college teams want players to report early, and just so much roster turnover. Soft pop-up over to second. Out number 3. That's 9 no-hit innings for Caden McDonald in his last 2 starts. And the Gatemen still on top 2-0.
Turf Specialties has set the standard for high-quality natural grass athletic field construction. As a full-service athletic field construction company, we specialize in design, build, and renovation of native soil, modified soil, and sand-based athletic fields. Our team will provide you with superior quality, expert guidance, and continuing support long after the completion of our project. We are proud to have built the infield for the Wareham Gatemen field. Go Gatemen.
There hasn't been a ton of training when it comes to bat speed or products for players to be able to train bat speed. You can improve your bat speed and reach your goals working 10 to 15 minutes a day on this a couple of times a week. That's a no-brainer for every player. You can make any bat feel lighter by adding a velo puck knob. Instead of having to go get a whole entirely new bat, you can simply add the puck to it. Players can use this with any bat. It's basically going to shift the weight of the bat a little bit more towards the hands. Players are able to hit the ball a lot harder just by simply adding the puck on.
Caden McDonald continues to impress on the mound. Now the Gatemen offense trying to back him up just a little bit more. Wareham on top 2-0 here in the 4th. Alongside Cory Miller, I'm Josh Richardson. Jake Bean out after 3 innings, so here comes Mason Morello, the right-hander from Fordham.
First appearance of the summer for the big 6'5", 230-pound right-hander. In a tight game so far, I give the Gatemen some credit because, listen, Firebirds are still trying to build Jake Bean up into going longer into games, but he'd been pitching really well. So the fact that you had Randall's 2 were on homer and then a lot of hard-hit balls in that 3rd inning really kind of, I think, made the decision for Kelly Nicholson for him to get a new arm in. And listen, it's always tough when you're seeing a guy who hasn't appeared in any games for the Firebirds this summer, but at the same time, he's got to adjust to facing all of these top hitters from the Gatemen.
Bean lowered his ERA just over a run, from 8.5 down to 7.3. And up until that 3rd inning, he was really pitching well. And a walk to Eris Rivera, 2-run home run from Braden Randall. Hayden Yost had a hit after that, but got out of the inning, just the 2 runs allowed. So Orleans goes to the bullpen. Bean's line closes 3 innings, 2 hits, 2 earned runs, 2 walks, 3 Ks. 0-1 fisted back up the middle. Over to second, 1 away.
Looked like for a second that Morello was going to have a chance to glove that kind of behind the back.
Yeah,
and
under
make
his
a really
legs,
nice
too.
play, yeah.
That'd have been really impressive.
And then it's just unfortunate for Colby Turner because once that ball got past the pitcher, typically there's going to be no one there. Maybe someone ranges up the middle to get it, but that's a really tough play to make it first. But with that shifted infield, takes away a potential hit.
It was softly hit as well. 1-0 on Chase Cruson, walked back in the second. Two-0.
Morella, a guy who formerly pitched at NYU, now at Fordham, so a guy who's risen from the D3 ranks to Division I.
Staying in the city, though. Which is funny. He's from Longwood, Florida, just north of Orlando. But a guy that wants to stay in the Big Apple.
Originally committed to West Point, too, so a lot of schools
he just
to
loves
speak
New
of.
York. That's lined into right field. It drops down in front of Potestio for a one-out single.
Talked about it earlier, but again, Cruson, a lot of his hits coming to the pull side, and he's really good at just dropping the barrel on the ball when there's something in the zone. Saw it again right there. Saw a line drive base hit into right field. He's been on base twice tonight.
Cruson just continues to raise that average up. 262 entering play today to 274. Chris Ramirez 0-1. I mean, this Gateman lineup, top to bottom, Cory. Even Aris Rivera making his debut, walked in his first at-bat. There's really no weak spots. Pitch out, back over to first, not in time. Back pick from Cashel Duggar. Good throw. Cruson, too speedy.
That's the thing. We went through kind of that dream all-star potential lineup if you're the Gatemen. But a lot of those guys are still on the team as we speak. And listen, obviously you're losing some top options, but when you have the luxury of a lot of these guys still on your team through the long haul, it's an added bonus.
I mean, think about it. How many of those guys from that all-star team did we name? 5, 6? I think the 3 that, 6, because the 3 that aren't here, Clark, Carnes, and Daly. 1-2 fouled away.
And the 2 guys that we were like, oh, how did we not find a spot for them? Cruson and Richie, they're still here too.
Yep.
So, and I think for Ryan Smythe, when you look at it, listen, there's reasons, obviously, no excuse necessarily needed all the time when you got to return to college. But these are the guys on the team right now who it seems like they're in it to win it the rest of the way.
That's lined into the left center field gap. Williams cuts it off. Cruson's heading for third. He'll get there without a throw. Ramirez stops at first. The Gatemen have runners on the corners. Another single for Chris Ramirez. He is a hitting machine.
Yeah, he is a hitting machine. You said it, just such a simple, tight, compact swing. A pitch in the zone and just laces it into left field. And credit Chase Cruson, a great read right off of the bat, realizing that ball was going to get down. He's got great speed, going from first to third to now set up Breifogel with a great spot.
Runners on the corners for Breifogel. Struck out swinging to lead off the third. And Aris Rivera followed it with a walk and a Braden Randall 2-run home run. That's how the Gatemen got on the board today. Ramirez up to 480 batting average on the summer. 1,100 OPS. Yeah, it's only 9 games, but a lot of players that still can't do that. Soft chopper to second. Garza's got 1 play. Runner scores. Ramirez to second. 2 away, but a 3-0 Wareham advantage.
If you're Breifogel, obviously, against that shifted infield, you kind of did what they wanted you to do. You had that big hold left side of the infield around that typical shortstop spot. But listen, it was a productive out. The way that ball was hit, just too much speed all around to turn 2 and get out of the inning without allowing the run. Gets an RBI, productive out. The Gatemen had another on.
Rivera lines that one over towards the not shifted infield. Here comes Ramirez to score. RBI single for Aris Rivera. 4-0 Wareham. That's what happens when you leave an entire side of the infield vacated, Cory.
It is, and we've seen it come back to bite the Firebirds a couple of times now, and that's the danger you run. All a hitter has to do, listen, it's easier said than done, but when they're really have control of the barrel of the bat and are just able to go the opposite way so effortlessly, it's going to come back to bite you.
Breaking ball in for Braden Randall, 0-1.
And so how about these 2 recent catching debuts for the Gatemen? Drew Rogers, his first at-bat, a 3-run homer. So far tonight, Aris Rivera walk was on base when Randall now hit that 2-run homer and an RBI single so far.
0-2 on Randall. Yeah, hopefully Rivera can kind of keep that up. That's something that Rogers hasn't been able to do so far this summer. Had that one home run. He's hitless since. Not in the lineup today. 0-2 pitch, lined over to third and gloved by Kucherak. Nice play, kept it in the air for out number 3. Wareham plates 2 more, lead doubled, 4-0.
Wareham-based AD Makepeace Company, founded in 1854, is North America's largest cranberry grower and recognized leader in environmentally responsible real estate development and land stewardship. For 171 years, AD Makepeace Company has supported community events and organizations like your Wareham Gatemen. Visit admakepeace.com to learn more.
Cape Cod 5 is proud to be the official banking partner of the Cape Cod Baseball League. Cape Cod 5 offers a broad range of financial products and services tailored for every stage in your financial journey. Reach out to us. We're here to help.
For a good piece of glass, call Abby, located at 3 Tyler Ave in East Wareham. Call Abby Glass and Locks about getting a free quote for your windows, doors, locks, and other glass needs.
Here at the Mass State Lottery, we know there's no bigger win than the $1 billion we provide each year to support all 351 cities and towns in Massachusetts. Now that's how we all win. The Mass State Lottery. Welcome to the state of winning.
5th inning, and we are flying here from Spillane Field. Gatemen on top 4-0 over the Firebirds. 5 hits for the Gatemen. Nothing yet for the Firebirds. I don't want to say anything, Cory, but Caden McDonald's pitching pretty well.
It really just kind of is business as normal, because we talked about in that Chatham win Tuesday how that was just wire to wire. It kind of felt like maybe not the biggest win of the summer, but all around, the fact that the Gatemen got it done offensively. They were great defensively, great pitching. This just feels like a carryover of that game. It's not a blowout, but everyone is doing their part. Just a clean performance top to bottom from Wareham again tonight so far.
Home run, got an RBI single, RBI ground out. So offense not strictly coming from the long ball. Getting it every way so far tonight. Fouled back from Tyler Myatt. He struck out swinging in the second. It's one of 3 Caden McDonald strikeouts tonight. He's allowed just the 2 walks. It's the only base runners. 0-2.
The last time these two teams played, McDonald had a lot of run support early on to work with, not as much so against Brewster his last start, but no matter how many runs his offense has got him, he has answered the call.
Seems to be ready for whatever the challenge is. Myatt stays alive. It's just incredible to see what he's done on the mound in his last 3-4 appearances, and then what he's also done at the plate. Franklin Player of the Week, home run against Chatham. 0-2, lined hard into right field. Cruson makes the catch.
And he's 0 for 2 tonight. He's got a couple of ground outs, but he has tagged both of those ground balls pretty hard. Just some rollovers right there. So even when he has to do both in the same game, he's hitting the ball hard, just hasn't been rewarded for it yet tonight. But we're kind of running out of words to describe how terrific he's been for the Gatemen.
Well, and after that Chatham game, got to talk to him a little bit. We didn't. Our beat reporter Joe McLaughlin did. He said, well, you could pretty much pick any guy on the team that's deserving of that Franklin Player of the Week. He just happened to be the one to get picked. 1-1 on Cashel Duggar.
That just speaks to the lineup up and down, no holes 1 through 9. Kind of feels like an all-star lineup the way everyone's performing.
Donald's pitch at the knees, 1-2.
And you credit Caden McDonald because, listen, in a lot of ways I think he's right, the way a lot of his teammates have produced, but that's the exact right response.
It says a lot about his character.
It does, who wants to be here and is just humble.
Nobody else is playing both ways, right?
Yep.
Skips in the dirt, it's 2-2. And he's kind of that last name that one of the last names, that if we got a text from our baseball ops guys and said Caden McDonald has been released. Then at that point, everything just kind of feels pretty real at that point. The Gatemen have survived without Ty Daly, survived without Clark, Hunter Carnes. They just keep making it through, but it's tough to replace somebody that, hypothetically, of course,
I would fall to my knees and weep.
I might be right behind you. Hopefully it never comes to that point, and McDonald's here for the long haul. Gateman could certainly use him. Full count pitch coming up to Cashel Duggar.
And I think, listen, obviously a lot of it has to do with his production and how great he's been, but to sum it up simply, he is doing something this summer that no one else in this 2025 season has done to this level.
3-2, that's back up the middle. Ramirez tries to glove it, he can't. And there's that first hit surrendered for McDonald tonight. One out base runner for the Firebirds.
So what's that final tally? 5 no-hit innings last time against Brewster, just a hard hit.
So that'll be
base
9
hit.
1/3.
That's pretty darn good.
Consecutive no-hit innings.
And we talked about some of these
with
new
9
arms.
strikeouts.
Yeah, with 9 strikeouts for the Gatemen. You want to make it easy on the bullpen, which has a lot of new faces to it. The way McDonald's throwing, it's going to make it a whole heck of a lot easier.
Dawson Brakes takes one downstairs. It's 1-0.
And McDonald, listen, there's just some really good catching options he's had behind the plate this summer. But that doesn't make it easier when you're having a whole different group of battery mates these past several starts, whether it's Clarence, Clark, Rogers, now Eris Rivera. Doesn't matter who it is, he's throwing well.
1-0 lined into left field. Breyfogle under it, just off the end of the bat from Dawson Bryce. 2 away.
Off the end of the bat, indeed, because we could hear that crack pretty loudly back up here.
Timed it up well.
Yeah, sounded like he got a good piece of it, but there's been a couple of those tonight where the contact's been halfway decent, just the contact point, maybe not the center of the barrel, and some flyouts for the Firebirds, but McDonald just right back to work.
I want to say that McDonald's worked his way out of trouble a couple of these innings, but trouble just kind of gets defined as a runner on first at this point. Nobody's reached second base. So a chance to get through 5 shutout innings tonight for the second straight appearance. 1-0 on Williams, chopped over to first. Nice play from McHugh, flip to McDonald covering the bag in time. How about Caden McDonald? Gatemen on top 4-0 in the home half of the 5th.
Here at the Mass State Lottery, we're known for our monster wins. But there's no bigger win than the $1 billion we provide each year to support all 351 cities and towns in Massachusetts. In our game, we know that supporting local businesses and helping communities is how we all win. Because at the lottery, we're all playing for the home team. The Mass State Lottery. Welcome to the state of winning.
A+ repairs smartphones, tablets, game consoles, and computers. Get it done right the first time.
Cape Cod Central Railroad is proud to sponsor the Wareham Gatemen for the 2nd year in a row. Experience the scenic beauty of Cape Cod like never before. Journey through picturesque marshes, cranberry bogs, and dunes on our historic rail line. Whether you're savoring a 5-course gourmet dinner, enjoying a Sunday brunch with a live jazz band, or bringing the family on a narrated excursion, there's a ride for everyone. Departing from Hyannis and Buzzards Bay, visit capetrain.com to book your ride today.
All right, Cory, 10 down, 3 across. 5 letters. Pitcher for the Gatemen. First name. Don't think too hard. He's on the mound tonight.
Is it Caden McDonald?
Well, it would just be Caden because it's first name, 5 letters. He's pitched pretty well so far. Just 1 hit through 5 innings. And the Gatemen on top 4-0 heading into the home half. It'll be Yost, McHugh, and McDonald 2-3-4. So we'll get to see McDonald at the plate this inning as well.
That was a really cool creative rejoin from you.
You know.
Really well done.
I have my moments. Morello back out on the mound. Second inning starts with the ball outside. Two 2-0.
Yost, a guy who, up at the second part of this order, has really earned that promotion the way he's been playing lately. Had that hard hit, base hit right back up the middle right after that Randall home run in the third. Continue to shift him here, though.
Fastball down the middle, 3-1. And that's been something for Yost this summer. He's at 214 with that single. Batting average raised up a little bit higher at 222. Lines one over to first. Gloved off of the bobble from Bryce. One away.
And that's the thing, when you're going right, even your outs are hard hit, just a little bit out in front of that breaking ball in the rollover, but you could hear the contact. He tagged it pretty well. And that's just a good sign when you're producing. You're hitting the ball, hitting it hard, no matter what the outcome is.
Yost has always had that glove. He's in center field. That's been kind of his calling card this summer. It's being a great defensive outfielder. And just talking with Rocco DiPietro about a week or so ago during the midst of that 7-game win streak, he said, Hayden's going to start hitting the bat, or hitting the ball, rather. And his bat's going to heat up, and it's going to be real special for this Gatemen team. Wouldn't you know it, Chatham, home run. 1-1, high in the air, drifting into foul territory. Third baseman Kucherak along the line. He makes the catch, 2 away.
And listen, in the playoffs, defense, I think, is going to be even more important than it is in the regular season because you really have no margin for error. But the fact that these guys like Yost, maybe like Avant Shane, who's getting a night off tonight, have turned things around with the bat as well. Options for Ryan Smythe. So important in the playoffs. It's going to be a bit of a challenge for him to try and get all these hot bats in the lineup. But again, that's the perfect
That's a good
problem you
to
want.
have.
Yep.
Here's McDonald, 1-1.
And so Yost has gone from a guy who, when he was in the lineup, was basically hitting 8th or 9th every night to now he's hitting second. It's like, do I put Colby Turner second? Again, good problems to have, though.
1-1, high in the air, into right field. Potestio back at the wall. He looks up, and it's gone. Caden McDonald is a superstar. Solo home run, his 5th of the summer, and the Gatemen on top 5-0 against the Firebirds.
This really is the month of McDonald, I think. I mean, we talked about it earlier in this game. It's impressive enough to be able to pitch and hit at his level when you're doing them in separate games. He just goes after a fastball outside corner. What an approach to go the other way. It's another thing to do them in the same game together. The 5 shutout innings, just 1 hit, and now a homer.
So he's 1 for 3 with the home run. His batting average this summer is up to .328 with an 1,061 OPS. And in his last 10 innings, Turner rips one over into right field. It's going to drop, or left field rather. It drops in the gap. And over his last 10 innings, he's allowed 1 hit with 9 strikeouts.
Is that good?
I'd say so.
I mean, yeah, we mentioned it earlier. If he were to have to return to the Florida Gators early, that's just going to be a tough day for everyone, I think especially us.
Kelly Nicholson will make a pitching change. Mason Morello out. New Firebird coming in on the other side of this break on Cape League TV.
Insurance has been servicing Wareham and the surrounding areas since 1980. Call Legacy Insurance for all your insurance needs at 508-295-1315. Legacy Insurance, your hometown agency.
Get ready for big results with our small machines. With more power, performance, comfort, and savings. They are ready for every job. And we're ready with plenty of inventory, the best support in the business, same-day parts availability, and locations across the Northeast. So you can always be ready to work. Milton Cat, always ready.
When it comes to protecting your home, car, or business, trust the team that's been covering our community for generations. For personalized coverage and service that you can count on, the choice is easy. It's Morse, of course. Visit morseins.com today.
Two-out home run from Caden McDonald, followed up by a Colby Turner single as Orleans moving to the bullpen for the second time tonight. Mason Morello out, Edward Hunt, the lefty from Duke, in.
Being in Morello, especially lately, the Gatemen really started to swing the bats after the past 2 innings, so no surprise Kelly Nicholson is going back to the bullpen and try and get a new-look arm. First lefty the Gatemen will have seen tonight. Hart's been really effective. 8 appearances out of the bullpen, 2.35 ERA. Just the 2 earned runs in 7 2/3 innings pitched, 4 walks, 7 strikeouts. A big 6'5" lefty out of Duke. And listen, it's still the 5th inning, but you're down by 5. You're in a jam-packed division, speaking from the point of view of the Firebirds. So you're turning to Hart, knowing that you don't want this game to get out of hand anymore, because from that point it would be tough to mount a comeback. So one of the Firebirds' top bullpen arms this summer into the game right now.
And they go to him against Chase Cruson, lefty on lefty, trying to get that final out of the 5th. Gatemen in front 5-0. First pitch, swing and a miss. Cruson's 1 for 1, single in the 4th. He walked back in the 2nd. Turner's on first, short lead for him, not known for his wheels. 0-1, soft flare out into left field. That's going to get down. Turner's on his way to third. Cruson hustling into second. The throw is not in time. Sliding double for Chase Cruson. Second and third, 2 outs in the 5th for Wareham.
Love the aggression on the base pass. Just busting it right out of the box to get to second. We talked about a lot of pull side hits for Cruson. This time, though, kind of a breaking ball down in the zone and just works it the other way, kind of golfs it into left field. Another nice hit by Cruson. He's been on base 3 times tonight, now 2 hits. In this game, listen, it's just part of baseball, but first 2 innings, this Gateman offense pretty stagnant. And that Braden Randall home run, the hitting is contagious, and a lot of these runs are coming in bunches. It's just been a theme over the course of this month. And no matter what the roster looks like, the lineup, the Gatemen are producing.
Now with Chris Ramirez hitting nearly 500, Orleans elects to intentionally walk him to bring up another lefty in Easton Breifogel. So the bad news is that you don't get one of your hottest hitters up at the plate. The good news is that there's nowhere to put Breifogel. Strike 1.
Another RBI situation for Easton. Had the RBI ground out back in the 4th. And this is a spot, even with 2 outs, where the Firebirds are trying to prevent Wareham from putting this game out of reach. Try and do the opposite. Come through, driving a couple more.
1-1 misses downstairs. 2 balls and a strike to Breifogel. Still waiting on that first home run. How fun would that be?
Listen.
In this spot here in the 5th.
Nowhere to put him. Hitters count. You figure at some point, sooner or later, Hart's going to have to attack him.
Turner on third, Cruson second, Ramirez first. 2-1, softly hit back up the middle. It's going to be a long play for Garza. He bobbles and he can't make the toss. Check back on Cruson. He's in safely. Turner scores. RBI single for Easton Breifogel. It's 6-0 Wareham.
That is what speed can do to you as a defender, that internal clock. You're just thinking to yourself, man, I have to really hurry this throw because I won't have a play at second. I know Breifogel's really fast out of the box. And it's just that kind of mental lapse or just mental rush made that play happen.
Now you've got Rivera. First pitch fastball misses outside. And the Orleans infield is going to shift him over to his pull side the same way they did back in the 4th. He went the other way with a single into right center. 1-0. That's going to flare into left center. It's down. Cruson scores easily. Ramirez turns. He's in. And another RBI for Eris Rivera. Make that 8-0 Gatemen.
At this point, doesn't matter who's in the game. The Gatemen are just
finding some grass in the outfield in front of all of these Firebirds outfielders. Continue to swing the bat. Anything in the zone, they're getting good contact on. And they just continue to add on. You mentioned the shift was on him, got a pitch kind of middle of the plate at the knees just deposited it into center field. And with the speed that the Gatemen have on the bases, easily plates 2 runs.
This 5th inning has all been done with 2 outs. Solo home run from McDonald, 4 hits, and an intentional walk. Here's the top of the order in Braden Randall. 2-0. 1-0, rather. Bryfogel's on third. Rivera on first. Foul ball.
Yeah, 2 out hitting. How about that?
You talk about run support, Cory. I mean,
yeah. Last time against Orleans, a lot of it came in the first, but listen, McDonald and the Gatemen will take it no matter when it comes.
He'll settle for it now. 1-1. This is downstairs. It's only the 5th, Cory, but Rivera would represent that 10th run. Had a couple of close calls with the mercy rule this summer. Wave and a miss, 2-2. If Randall could find a way to get him in.
And it's interesting, talked about early on, this game didn't have the feel of one of these meetings between these 2 squads, but now it does because the offense has found its groove.
Payoff pitch coming up to Randall. You talked about it. We talked about it a lot, Cory. Pick a hitting statistic, and the Gatemen are in first in. Just keep extending that run total on the season. Already when they had a 15-run advantage over Orleans, who was in second. That 23. Soft chopper over to Garza. That retires the side. But the Gatemen plate 4 more, and Wareham on top 8-0 heading into the 6th.
Rayna Maggelet joins alongside Josh Butler and Tate McGuire. Today we're going to do a Would You Rather Pitchers Edition. So Tate, I'll start with you. Would you rather pitch a complete game shutout or throw a no-no with a few walks?
Probably a complete game. I'll go no-hitter.
No-no?
I'm down to walk some people.
Josh?
Yeah, that sounds pretty cool, but I feel like pitching the whole 9 innings and no runs is pretty sick.
Yeah.
I'd rather do that.
All right, would you rather face the batter known for hitting home runs or a batter known for a deep full count?
Wait, no, for what?
Like working deep counts.
Probably deep counts.
Yeah.
Just because, I mean, every batter can do that.
Yeah.
What was the question?
All right. Would you rather face a batter known for hitting home runs or a batter known for working deep counts?
I'm going to agree with him here. Probably the guy who works counts.
Yeah. All right, last one. Would you rather have a fastball at 100 with poor control or a much slower but accurate fastball?
What's much slower?
I'm talking like 65, 70.
I'll take 100.
Okay, then what about like 80?
I'll take 100.
Still 100?
Yeah, I'd probably throw 100.
Yeah. All right.
That was just a snippet of Rayna Maggelet's Would You Rather talk with Tate McGuire and Josh Butler. For the full clip, you can check out the Wareham Gatemen YouTube page. Back here at Spillane Field, Caden McDonald exits on the mound. Boy, was he good. 5 shutout innings, just 1 hit, a couple of walks, gives way to Griffin O'Connor.
Yeah, and a solo home run as well, so he's not fully out of the game, still gets to DH. But now you give way to Griffin O'Connor. You have that big lead, 8-0. O'Connor, somebody that's kind of struggled so far this summer with the Gatemen ERA above 15. And there's been a couple spots where he's been a little unlucky. He's forced some weak contact, but, I mean, especially his first appearance of the summer against Falmouth. Gatemen recorded 7 errors total in that game. Definitely a lot of plays that should have and could have been made. So ERA going to be a little inflated from that, but overall, as a whole, got a lot of room to work with here if you're O'Connor. Just throw strikes. Have a good time.
O'Connor pitched to a 6.5 ERA last summer in 6 games with Wareham. But plenty of breathing room. It's been all Wareham since the third. 2 runs in the third, 2 in the fourth, 4 in the fifth. 8-0. First pitch to Patisio. Rolls it on the ground. McHugh stays down, backpedals, and flips to the covering O'Connor. For out number 1 to begin the top of the 6th.
It's a good start. 1 pitch, 1 out for O'Connor. Sometimes that's all it is. You get that first out, come into an appearance, and McDonald pitches as well as he does, and you don't feel like you have to follow up exactly what he did to a T, but when you get one away quickly, it's got to feel good moving forward.
Brings up the second baseman Garza, 0 for 2 tonight. Guy in Garza who struck out just 10 times across Division I baseball action last spring, second across all of D1. 0-1 on the second baseman. Oh, 1 pitch, big swing and a miss, 0-2. We talked about just how good Caden McDonald had been. 1 hit allowed the past 10 innings of work. That goes back to his outing against Brewster last week, but he has just been a dominant force. Swing and a miss right there, so O'Connor's picking up where McDonald left off, and there's quickly 2 retired to begin the 6th.
I mean, it's great to know that you have that type of player on both sides that you can rely on. And again, we've talked about it a lot. He's done it pitching, he's done it hitting, but not in the same game in the way that he's doing today. With 10 games left in the regular season, he'll probably have, 1, maybe 2 more starts left after today for the regular season. I mean, it doesn't get better than this if you're Wareham.
Pitch to Elijah Ekus misses outside. Another change defensively for the Gatemen. Vance Shane into the game at third. That moves Colby Turner out to left. Easton Breifogel exits. And if you're Ryan Smythe, you have an 8-run lead. Trying to stack these wins late in the season. Try and get your best defensive squad out there right now. This one's poked into shallow right field. Drifting foul. Long one run for everyone. Randall laying out of his reach. And it's a foul ball.
Yeah, Randall wanted to try that. Got up a little slowly, but he looks like he's fine.
And listen, it's an 8-run game, but still, you want your best out there defensively
to
try and secure the win. We've talked about how Shane Ramirez, Randall McHugh is kind of the Gatemen's, it would seem, best defensive infield. Again, a long run from everyone here. Randall almost getting to it.
Yeah, and there's a bunch of guys that you could kind of plug in there, at least in the outfield, but that infield is pretty set in stone when it comes to we need outs. This is who's going to be there, third to first.
And Turner can play a variety of positions, but seems to kind of be more comfortable in the outfield where he's played primarily for Michigan this past spring. So he's out in the outfield now.
We haven't seen him in left this summer a whole lot, though. He's been in right primarily.
Pitch to Ekus. Misses beneath the zone. 2-1.
And yeah, it's still the outfield, but different dimensions and each side. It's good to know that he can play on the other portion of the field as well.
Ekus, a 284 hitter, 3 homers, 14 RBIs from the shortstop. Count 3-1 on him. Levy on deck. And it is an 8-run lead, but when these two teams played here on June 25th, it was a 5-0 Gatemen lead before Orleans plated 7 unanswered. Sure, there's 3 more runs tonight that the Gatemen have, but at this point in the season, try and prevent something like that from happening. Hard hit into center field. It hangs up nicely for Hayden Yost to sprint in and make a nice catch to end the top of the 6th. No hits, no runs, no one left on for the Firebirds. Strong first inning out of the pen for O'Connor. We move ahead to the bottom half of the 6th. All Gatemen on Cape League TV.
Here at the Mass State Lottery, we're known for our monster wins. But there's no bigger win than the $1 billion we provide each year to support all 351 cities and towns in Massachusetts. In our game, we know that supporting local businesses and helping communities is how we all win. Because at the lottery, we're all playing for the home team. The Mass State Lottery. Welcome to the state of winning.
A+ repairs smartphones, tablets, game consoles, and computers. Get it done right the first time.
Cape Cod Central Railroad is proud to sponsor the Wareham Gatemen for the 2nd year in a row. Experience the scenic beauty of Cape Cod like never before. journeying through picturesque marshes, cranberry bogs, and dunes on our historic rail line. Whether you're savoring a 5-course gourmet dinner, enjoying a Sunday brunch with a live jazz band, or bringing the family on a narrated excursion, there's a ride for everyone. Departing from Hyannis and Buzzards Bay, visit capetrain.com to book your ride today.
Another arm being used out of the Firebirds bullpen. Nelson Koenig, 6 foot, 175-pound right-hander, takes over on the mound. Firebirds bullpen that's been less than stellar tonight. Started with Morello. He was tagged for 4 runs. Hart just pitched a third of an inning. He was tagged for 2 more.
Yeah, the Gatemen have been firing on all cylinders today. Don't forget Bean. He gave up those 2 runs early back in the third. 2-run home run for Braden Randall. It's just, when Wareham gets rolling, it's really tough to stop because they've just built so much momentum throughout the course of these last 12 games, 10 wins. And then as soon as kind of that one pebble falls and that first run comes across, you'll see about 5 or 6 more come across as well.
Hitting has been contagious. Now a tough spot for Koenig out of the bullpen, facing 2, 3, 4. And listen, this was a Firebirds team. It makes it all the more impressive. There's still work to do to secure the win, but this was a Orleans team nearly as hot as the Gatemen across their last 10. Orleans was 7-3, Wareham was 9-1. Again, those were the only 2 teams coming into this game across the league that had a record above 500 across their last 10 games. And listen, the 8 runs are impressive, but the fact that the Gatemen have been able to shut out through 6 innings, an offense that is now second across the league in runs, sure they still rank last in average and slugging percentage, but still, the runs have been there. 1-0 on Yost.
And it just kind of shows that throughout these now last 13 games, or 12 and a half if you want to say, there just hasn't been another team that's consistently been on the same level as Wareham.
Shatters his bat, does Hayden Yost, on that weak dribbler. Just kind of a fraction coming off the end right there. I'll have to get a new stick.
Meanwhile, earlier in this game, we saw a shattered bat from Elijah Ekus. That one broke down near the handle, and that one just kind of got a chip of the barrel for Yost.
Shrapnel really hasn't affected anyone in the field, thankfully. It's 1-1 on the Gatemen center fielder. This is the highest Yost has hit in the order since opening day when he led off for the Gatemen. Hitting second tonight, facing the shift once again, 1-1 pitch. Bounced in there.
Yeah, he's been primarily 7, 8, 9, but there have been a couple times that he's been up towards the front end of the order.
Earned his way back to the top as he takes another one downstairs. On deck is Chris McHugh.
And he had that single in the third, and he had that sharp ground out to first in the fifth. But it's really less about the outcome and more about how he's getting there, because there's been a lot of instances that he's put good bat on ball.
He had a triple last night, excuse me, as he works a walk right here on 5 pitches.
You need some water?
I thought for a second, I don't know what happened there. Just got
it's
so
a long
choked
season.
Up.
Hey, this is
I
game
got
31.
so choked up watching him work a walk. Plenty of speed on first now. 8 runs on 10 hits for Wareham now. Just 1 hit to speak of for the Firebirds. Way outside, snap throw to first. Yost dives back safely. Believe it or not, McHugh is 0 for 3 tonight. Always seems like kind of night in, night out over the course of the stretch for Wareham. One of the big name players maybe doesn't have their best night, but it really doesn't matter because someone, not multiple people, steps up and produce 1-1.
And this is one of the things with McHugh. Yeah, he'll go 0 for 3, but it always just kind of feels like he's due for that one big hit, whether it be, a double in the gap, a home run.
Here's a hard hit ball high in the air, deep to left field. It sends Levy back in front of the wall. Makes the catch.
Yeah, close enough.
McHugh had that shot into center in the third. A couple of fly balls tonight that didn't stay in the park by a whole lot.
I thought that one was going to leave and I was going to be a psychic, but McHugh moves to 0 for 4. But again, he's still hitting 247 this summer, but 856 OPS. Just everything he hits for power.
McDonald off of that opposite field homer his last at-bat takes one in the dirt. Couple of defensive changes now for the Firebirds as well. Crossland into left, so he made that last catch, and then Kyle Johnson into center, replacing Javar Williams.
How terrifying does it have to be at this point for pitchers to try and face Caden McDonald, especially with runners on base?
I mean, we've seen the pull side power all summer, but that last one going the opposite way. There goes Yost. Pitch misses low. Throw down. Tag applied. Yost is out. Nice throw by Duggar. Tag applied by Garza, and now there's 2 away.
Just trying to get him into scoring position. And Yost has a lot of speed. Showcases it all the time in center field, but nice toss from Duggar. Right on the money in time.
Trying to get in scoring position for his Florida and Wareham teammate, Caden McDonald. Now no one on with 2 away. Hitters count 2-1 pitch is laced foul down the right field line. Gatemen came in 48 of 60 in terms of stolen bases. Tied for 6th most swipe bags across the league. Orleans 50 of 65 entering play. 2-2 to McDonald. Lays off. It's in there anyways. Called strike 3. 3 up, 3 down. The walk, but then the caught stealing. Nothing doing for Wareham in the last of the 6th. They're still up by 8, though. We move ahead to inning number 7 on Cape League TV.
If you need to dig, lift, move, grade, clear, or cut, pump, weld, clean, light, and just about anything else, dial up the rental source for the newest and the most reliable equipment in New England. Staffed with equipment and construction experts. Milton Rents, your local source.
As the sponsor of tonight's game, PCT Federal Credit Union is proud to root for the home team. We're thrilled to offer great rates on auto loans, home equity lines of credit, and so much more. Visit us on Cranberry Highway in West Wareham.
Reed Custom Soils, a subsidiary of the AD Makepeace Company, is New England's most experienced precision soil blender. Reed is the leading provider of the lightweight planting soil for green roof installations, stabilized stone dust for nature paths and pedestrian walkways, bioretention rain garden soils, and specialized soils for athletic fields, including your newly renovated Spillane Field. To learn more, visit reedcustomsoils.com.
Shameless Plug Electric, hitting home runs on every job. Wareham's top choice for electrical work. Call Shameless Plug Electric. The Gatemen hoping to make it a 3rd straight win out of the All-Star break. And the good spot right here, 8-0 Wareham over Orleans, getting set for playing the top of the 7th. Michael Crossland will stroll up to the box, replace Robbie Levy in left field in the defensive half of the 6th inning. So his first at-bat for the righty out of UC San Diego. 131 hitter, no homers, 5 RBIs. O'Connor out on the mound for his 2nd inning out of the bullpen. First pitch Crossland sees. High and outside, ball 1.
It's kind of surprising to see Orleans take out who's been the best hitter against the Gatemen all season. Levy came in 6 for 7. Couple of doubles.
1-0. Make it 2-0. Javar Williams out, but he's the 9th hitter in the order. Has not had the same level of success, especially against Wareham, that, as you mentioned, Levy has had. Hitters count here for Crossland, though. Quickly 3-0 on the righty with Kucherak on deck. Firebirds again have yet to scratch across a run, despite some of their recent offensive success. The 3-0 pitch. O'Connor finds the zone. And a good sign for the Gatemen, again, given that they are losing some of their top arms, guys headed back to school. Crossland will have to regather his bat, head back to the plate, as that was called a strike. But it looked like just a couple days ago, the Gatemen had the makings of a pretty perfect playoff rotation in Caden McDonald, Cooper Consiglio, and Tate McGuire.
Yeah, Consiglio just released today. Still have Caden McDonald, and you just hope that a couple of those other arms can be there at the top end of the order. Josh Butler, somebody you can move. He's gone extended innings.
3-2 pitch,
reliever.
cut and miss. Throw down to first in time for out number 1. Well, and that's the thing. If you then have to replace one of those guys, it's certainly possible. The Gatemen have the arms to do so, but
then you just move guys out of the bullpen potentially.
Where they've been effective, so it either depletes the rotation or
but
the bullpen.
But if your starters have been that good as they have been for the Gatemen over these last 15 or so days, and then you also have the number 1 offense in the league, I think you'll be okay.
Kucherак will walk and a pop out tonight with no one on and 1 away after Crossan was retired via the strikeout.
Right, let's go through this in full. First in runs, first in hits, first in doubles, first in triples, first in home runs, first in RBIs. First in slugging, first in OPS.
And it's been a league
That's pretty good.
It really is, and it's been a league of offense this summer, and so perhaps the team that rides that trend the best of everyone else is going to be the team left standing. But it certainly helps when you have the pitching and the hitting.
And again, at this point, it feels like that lineup is pretty close to, if not completely set in stone. It's just that rotation that you still have some guys moving in, moving out.
0-2 pitch to Kucherak. Lays off. That one's in there. Called strike 3. Back-to-back strikeouts open the top of the 7th for Griffin O'Connor.
I really like what I'm seeing from O'Connor so far. Got a couple of strikeouts now. He's got 3 total. Fly out, ground out. He's pitching real well. This is a nice bounce-back performance to see out of O'Connor. And that's the thing. A lot of his appearances this summer have come in some pretty low-leverage spots, whether the Gatemen have been up by a lot of runs or down by a lot of runs. So when you put together 2 good innings like this, his pitch count's still down as well. Maybe he goes a 3rd. But definitely something that could both boost his confidence and boost Eric Lux's pitching coach for the Gatemen confidence in him play a little bit longer and in some bigger spots.
That one makes the Saints, maybe an answer to some of the higher leverage bullpen spots as Griffin O'Connor. We've seen that. Some guys out of the bullpen who initially, early on, have pitched in lower leverage situations like this one have worked their way up.
Hudson Rowan's a really great name to use there.
It's been 5 up, 5 down for O'Connor out of the bullpen. He's got Myatt 0-2 as he spoils that one out of play. And we've talked about it. It is an unfortunate situation that the Gatemen are losing some of these top pitching arms when they are down the stretch, getting ready for the postseason.
But if they keep winning, then...
And it's not unique to just Wareham. Obviously, some of these releases and departures come in different moments for some of these teams. Another 0-2. Hard hit, high in the air, deep to left field. No doubt about this one. Tyler Myatt, an absolute bomb to get the Firebirds on the board.
So 5 up, 5 down for O'Connor. And then that 6th batter finally gave up that first run of the game.
The guy who just won the NJCAA Triple Crown, hit 31 of them this past spring with Walter State Community College, and he sure did not miss a stitch of this baseball.
That's why he's going to Tennessee, Cory. Bulls will be happy to have him next season.
Said it earlier, but what an addition for the Firebirds. Late season ad. His first game with the team was 0-2 entering that at bat, but they could get used to that. Well, and to finish up the conversation about the Gatemen arms, you think back to Harwich, a team that had led the league in ERA pretty much the whole summer, and then they got to a point earlier in this month, as it's now 1-2 on Duggar. 1-1 rather, where a lot of their arms had to head back to school or had to depart due to the draft, and their ERA kind of really ballooned, went up a whole point. Listen, they're still top of the league now in earned run average, but it was an adjustment. And part of the reason why Wareham scratched across 13 runs against them on the 16th. Right back in front of home plate, Rivera makes a nice play to end the top of the 7th. The Firebirds finally get on the board. The moonshot from Myatt ends the shutout for the Gatemen. Still plenty of room to work with. They're up by 7. We move ahead to the last of the 7th on Cape League TV.
Finding a good personal injury attorney is very difficult. If you or a family member has been involved in an accident, hurt at work, suffered a slip and fall, or have been injured due to negligence of someone else, contact the lawyers at Reedy, Kiernan, and McNally, LLP today. They are experienced trial attorneys who practice in all of the courts in the Commonwealth. The firm has been recognized by Best Lawyers in America for outstanding legal representation. Contact Reedy, Kiernan, and McNally, LLP today. The firm is located at 267 Main Street in Wareham. Reedy, Kiernan, and McNally, LLP also has offices in New Bedford and Falmouth. Call 508-295-0286 or visit their website www.rkm-law.com.
There are just 10 games left in the regular season, and listen, there's still a lot to be played, still a lot that can happen. We kind of look at that playoff scenario for the Gatemen, trying to clinch a playoff spot. Again, top 4 teams in the division do clinch a playoff spot. The magic number to clinch a postseason berth, that sits at 13 points. That's achievable through a combination of either 7 wins or 6 wins and a tie. And then for that division title, a little bit more is needed, but just 15 points, 8 wins, 7 wins, and a tie. Obviously, those numbers can change depending upon the results of the other teams in the division. But the good news for the Gatemen, as we talked about, you control your own destiny being in first place.
Yeah, you get that win today. I mean, hopefully you hold on to everything today and come away. That'd be 17 wins on the summer. Gatemen would actually be the only team at 17 wins across Cape Cod, so that's a good number to hit. But if you just keep playing the way you're playing and you don't worry about magic numbers, you just keep finding ways to string together wins, be a huge, huge spot for this team.
Billy Morris takes over on the mound. The Firebirds continue to empty the bullpen, faces Turner to begin his first appearance with Orleans, 6 foot, 195-pound righty. Now the 5th pitcher the Firebirds have used. He gets an out on 2 pitches as Turner grounds out to Kucherak to begin the last of the 7th.
Now the Gatemen against Bourne over the weekend. Gatemen ended up pitching Division III Jackson Melendi from Bowden. Now Billy Morris from Dieuville, D2, rising senior.
A spot in the summer where as Cruson takes one down low. Both of these teams, again, it's not unique to the Gatemen. They need all the extra arms they can get as that one is roped into right center field. Back is Batistio, and he tracks it down in front of the wall. Cruson was looking for hit number 3 of the night, retired for allowed out number 2. But oftentimes when you have innings you have to fill, some of the help's going to come from whatever level you can get, including D2, D3.
And that's one of those things, Cory, and it speaks a lot about just the roster turnover. We've kind of mentioned it and tiptoed around it, but, I mean, there's been a lot of talk over these last few weeks about so many guys leaving, whether it be college coaches forcing them to report back early, innings limits. It can make things really difficult for a lot of these teams and a lot of these coaches to field the team.
And it really is frustrating, I think especially even more so at this point in the summer when you're a first-place team or any team, but you're trying to make a postseason run. You're in this to win. Chris Ramirez continues to hit a base hit up the middle. His 2nd of the night. He's been on base 3 times. 2-out base runner for the Gatemen.
He is so good. He really is. But just kind of going back to that point, Cory, Jamie Shevchik, head coach of Brewster this season. He's also the head coach at Keystone College, where Ryan Smythe is an assistant. So a lot of connections there between the Gatemen and the Whitecaps, especially this summer. But Shevchik put out a tweet a couple days ago that's really caught a lot of attention. It's about nearly 200,000 views. And he just kind of summed up what he's been hearing from different players and different coaches, different college coaches, that is, of why players need to return early. Dennis Cook, Chatham manager, during an interview talked about how difficult it is and how a lot of these coaches don't understand what we're trying to do, and just how the state of the game has just changed so dramatically over the last few years. With the transfer portal, NIL, there's just so much more that goes into it now than 5, 6, 7 years ago.
Certainly has impacted things. Shane, who replaced Breyfogle in the field, his first at-bat, count even at 2-2. And he followed up that tweet a day later with an interview with Max Gifford, one of the Brewster broadcasters, basically saying how he feels there needs to be a greater appreciation for the work the coaches up here in the Cape League are doing. And that kind of needs to be a two-way stretch. Obviously, listen, these guys belong to their college programs, but it's still a valuable part of their college experience, the work they're getting in the nation's premier college summer league. Premier is back again.
And it's so historic for a reason, right? I mean, it's because it attracts the best players across the country. Most of those, of course, that aren't draft eligible yet, and some that are trying to raise their stock just a little bit higher.
High chopper to shortstop. Ekus backs up on it. The long throw to first. Dug out by Bryce for out number 3. No runs, 1 hit, 1 runner left on for the Gatemen. Still in control of this one. We played 7 innings at Spillane Field. 8-1 Wareham on Cape League TV.
Wareham-based 80 Makepeace Company, founded in 1854, is North America's largest cranberry grower and recognized leader in environmentally responsible real estate development and land stewardship. For 171 years, 80 Makepeace Company has supported community events and organizations like your Wareham Gatemen. Visit 80makepeace.com to learn more.
Cape Cod 5 is proud to be the official banking partner of the Cape Cod Baseball League. Cape Cod 5 offers a broad range of financial products and services tailored for every stage in your financial journey. Reach out to us. We're here to help.
For a good piece of glass, call Abby, located at 3 Tyler Ave in East Wareham. Call Abby Glass and Locks about getting a free quote for your windows, doors, locks, and other glass needs.
Here at the Mass State Lottery, we know there's no bigger win than the $1 billion we provide each year to support all 351 cities and towns in Massachusetts. Now that's how we all win. The Mass State Lottery. Welcome to the state of winning.
Griffin O'Connor finishing up his warm-up pitches, back out there for inning number 3 of relief. Just one earned run to speak of, the homer by Tyler Myatt in the top of the 7th. Still all Wareham, though. 8-1 lead over Orleans. The two hottest teams across the Cape League entering play. Firebirds right now kind of on the outside looking in terms of their own division, but still technically would be in a playoff spot. The Gatemen top of the West Division. Dawson Bryce, the first baseman, begins the top of the 8th. But the Gatemen just right now trying to continue to feed off of the momentum they've built throughout the summer. Such a great spot to have that momentum late in the season with just 10 games left to play. O'Connor's pitch skips in there, ball 1.
Just to kind of cap off the conversation that we were having in the last half inning, Cory, because, we talked about it in a lot of the things that Brewster said and Chatham said. Obviously, Ryan Smythe hasn't come out and, made any public comments on it. Well, Kelly Nicholson, head coach for Orleans, just a couple of days ago, back on the 20th, put out a tweet and was talking about, University of Southern California's rule number 32 regarding summer baseball under Mike Gillespie, the head coach for the Trojans for a number of years. And there are a couple of bullet points there. There's 5 of them total. Your commitment means you've committed. You get there 2 days after USC's done. You stay until the end and don't look to come home before the season ends. Act as you are over the summer as you are at USC. And the last one, understand that they want to win, so the best players play as well. And that just kind of sums up everything. I mean, this is a very well-regarded and respected opinion across a lot of these Cape League coaches. Roster turnover is just pretty high.
Mile-high pop-up, shallow center field. The second baseman, Randall, backpedals and makes the catch for out number 1 to begin the 8th. And listen, that's kind of specific to USC, but you feel like universally that should be kind of adhered to by all of these college programs, and it doesn't really
if that's in one Power 4, Power 5 at that time, if that's in their kind of code of conduct and everything, then you'd imagine that it's in probably a good number of other teams, but just not for everyone.
Kyle Johnson, who appeared as a defensive replacement, that one skips to the backstop.
And you're never in. You can't like force it. You know what I mean? I mean, every coach is going to have their own philosophy, and that's totally fine. It's just so much different than it was a number of years ago.
And NIL, you can talk about it all day long. The opportunities for guys to make money using their name and their talents, potential for them to move from school to school based off of the various money-making opportunities the program could offer them. But it's obviously not like there's not mutual benefit between college programs and the Cape League.
And I love NIL. I think it's a great thing. Like, these college athletes should absolutely be compensated for what they do on the field and for the revenue that they're bringing into schools. But there's definitely some loopholes there that players, coaches can kind of take advantage of in terms of how they want to proceed with their upcoming college seasons, because the thought of what these guys are doing over the summer just kind of gets put by the wayside.
Which is unfortunate. 2-2 pitch, swing and a miss. Johnson's first at-bat ends in a strikeout. O'Connor's been sharp, 2 away to begin the 8th. It's unfortunate because, as I was saying, one of the number 1 areas, another look on the strikeout, breaking ball, swing and a miss. Number 1 areas, platforms, leagues to get scouts to observe these players is this league. I mean, we see the amount of scouts here night
and that's
to
what
night.
A lot of these coaches are afraid of, is they don't want players to kind of get poached away from them.
Half-hearted swing by Batistio.
And it's one thing, you know, a lot of these guys were released from teams expecting to be drafted. Some did, some didn't, and they didn't want to, you know, report back to their team. And that's fine, you know. Then you can go report down early and kind of get your work in there, but then it's just others that are not along that same line.
This should end the inning. Lazy flying to left. Colby Turner's got it for out number 3. Griffin O'Connor has been sharp out of the bullpen. 3 innings, just the 1 earned run. He's got the Gatemen just 3 outs away from another win. We move ahead to the bottom of the 8th on Cape League TV.
Here at the Mass State Lottery, we're known for our monster wins. But there's no bigger win than the $1 billion we provide each year to support all 351 cities and towns in Massachusetts. In our game, we know that supporting local businesses and helping communities is how we all win. Because at the lottery, we're all playing for the home team. The Mass State Lottery. Welcome to the state of winning.
A+ repairs smartphones, tablets, game consoles, and computers. Get it done right the first time.
Cape Cod Central Railroad is proud to sponsor the Wareham Gatemen for the 2nd year in a row. Experience the scenic beauty of Cape Cod like never before. Journey through picturesque marshes, cranberry bogs, and dunes on our historic rail line. Whether you're savoring a 5-course gourmet dinner, enjoying a Sunday brunch with a live jazz band, or bringing the family on a narrated excursion, there's a ride for everyone. Departing from Hyannis and Buzzards Bay, visit capetrain.com to book your ride today.
Wareham is 3 outs away from a third straight win, all after the All-Star break. Sitting atop the West Division standings, Brady Fox, another arm out of the Firebirds bullpen. Maryland, Baltimore County product, 5'10", southpaw takes over on the mound.
Yeah, and again, at this point, Orleans just kind of throwing everybody. This will be another pitcher into the game for the Firebirds. Make that 6 on the night. And at this point, again, this game's out of reach. It's 8-1. Orleans down to the final 3 outs of the night. You're just trying to see what you got.
He'll face Aris Rivera. What a debut for the catcher. A walk, scored a run, an RBI single in the 4th, a 2 RBI single in the 5th. Out of UCF, a guy who spent his first 2 collegiate years at Polk State. He was a walk-on there. Obviously was extremely successful. Earned the transfer to UCF, where he appeared in 20 games, 7 starts this past spring, hit .281. Goes after that one, fouls it away.
Correction, now batting the catcher number 7, Aris Rivera from the University of Central Florida.
He played briefly for the Gatemen last summer, just 5 games, was 1 of 13, did have 3 RBIs. But a guy who wasn't ranked coming out of high school, walked on at Polk State, and credit him for transferring up to UCF. And hoping to finish strong now, his first appearance of the 2025 summer.
And again, for the Gatemen for the rest of the season, he doesn't have to be Levi Clark. He doesn't have to be Hunter Carnes. Just, if he's doing what he's doing tonight, that's all they'll ever need.
That one splits the gap. It rolls to the wall. An easy double for Rivera. He'll pull up there. On base all 4 times tonight. 3 hits. Now his first extra base hit. And you said he doesn't need to be Levi Clark. He had a perfect 1,000% fielding percentage at UCF this past spring, but the bat so far tonight has been strong as well.
And again, this is a great introduction for this Gatemen squad. He's been with the team over the last few days. He got activated on the 21st. Just hadn't seen any game time yet. Well, welcome to Wareham. For the second time, of course. But this summer, this is great.
Yeah, it was a really brief stint for him last summer, and a chance in a position of need after the departures. With the Gatemen in first place, looking to make a run down the stretch. Just 10 more games. That includes this one, game number 30 of the summer. Randall at the top of the order. 1-4 for tonight. The 2-run shot, his first homer of the year in the 3rd. The 2-0 pitch from the lefty, big swing and a miss.
Yeah, 9 games left. It's just, it's flown by so fast. And with a win today, you'll clinch that series win over Orleans. A couple other series that you've finished up. Harwich and YD split 2-2.
And as of now, it feels like the Gatemen have so much momentum, which is so important. Caden McDonald talked about that after the Chatham game, saying that the team that typically is most successful, and especially the sport of baseball, isn't always going to be the best team, but it's going to be the team that gets hot at the right time. Randall pokes this one into center field. Johnson over into the gap makes the catch. But McDonald did add that he feels like the Gatemen are the best team, but also clearly the hottest team.
Well, and again, it doesn't take that far back to think about Harwich last summer. Started off July 2-17, and then went on a run to end both the regular season and then the playoffs. Lost just 1 game in that span and took the Cape League title. And it goes here, and it goes all the way up to the major leagues. I mean, again, initial thought, 2019 Washington Nationals, 2021 Atlanta Braves.
Yost takes a breaking ball at the knees for a strike.
If you get hot at the right time.
And the way the Gatemen are playing now, it doesn't really seem like it does matter who they lose. Obviously, you still need to keep some key players, but subtraction after subtraction, some new guys added. Most recently, Aris Rivera, 3 hits tonight.
And that's one of those things, too. They're not beating up on bad teams. If they hold on to win this one tonight, they'll be 9-6 against teams over 500.
And this is the hottest team across the Cape besides them right now. You go by the last 10 games.
There are only 2 other teams that are above 500 in that margin, Orleans and Chatham, who right now are both losing tonight against teams over 500.
1-2 to Hayden Yost. Swing and a miss. Fox retires Yost. Now 2 away with that runner on at second for Chris McHugh. Sun setting here at Spillane Field. Just past the 8 o'clock hour.
This one's been going pretty quick.
Despite all those runs, it really has, especially the first few innings. But
well, Orleans only has 2 hits, so that's got to be a part of it.
We talked about there's been plenty of runs scored between these 2 teams in their 3 previous meetings this summer, each of them resulting combined for double digits. 1-0 to McHugh, a high bouncer foul. This one combining for 9 runs through almost 8 innings. McHugh looking for his first hit of the night, but man, has he been successful as of late. Up at the top of the league in terms of OPS, lays off that one. Levi Clark, obviously not with the team now, but Chris McHugh and Colby Turner each rank inside the top 10 in OPS among qualified hitters, minimum 63 at-bats right now. McHugh sits at third with 9:02 entering play. Turner at ninth, mentioned Levi Clark first. The Gatemen, the only team across the league with 3 players in the top 10, and just the second team alongside Katuitt with more than 1. 2 of them still on the team, and McHugh and Turner. Hitters count for McHugh a couple of times tonight. He's come within striking distance of a long ball. Taking a fastball in the outside corner. Count goes full. Team that leads the league in runs, only adding to their total tonight. Be a payoff pitch, runner on at second, 2 away. Weak cue ball, left side of the infield. Easy play for Kucherak to end the inning. No runs on 1 hit. The Gatemen leave Rivera in scoring position at second. We move ahead to the top of the 9th. The Gatemen 3 outs away from another win. Stay tuned to the finish on Cape League TV.
Insurance has been servicing Wareham and the surrounding areas since 1980. Call Legacy Insurance for all your insurance needs at 508-295-1315. Legacy Insurance, your hometown agency.
Get ready for big results with our small machines. With more power, performance, comfort, and savings, they are ready for every job. And we're ready with plenty of inventory, the best support in the business, same-day parts availability, and locations across the Northeast. So you can always be ready to work. Milton Cat, always ready.
When it comes to protecting your home, car, or business, trust the team that's been covering our community for generations. For personalized coverage and service that you can count on, the choice is easy. It's Morse, of course. Visit morseins.com today.
This broadcast is a copyrighted production of the Cape Cod Baseball League. Any unauthorized duplication, retransmission, or other use is strictly prohibited. Lefty Eli Jones takes over on the mound for the Gatemen, trying to secure the win. Would be the Gatemen's 3rd straight. Lefty now has appeared in 3 games. Obviously, down the stretch, the scores around the cross of the league going to be of the utmost importance to the Gatemen as well. We get a look at some of the other action. Wareham obviously up over Orleans. Falmouth and Bourne, they've played a tight contest in 6 innings. 6-5 the Braves over the Commodores. Harwich up big over Chatham. Whitey and Brewster, that one's already gone final. The Red Sox beating the Whitecaps. And Katuitt applying the mercy rule early against Hyannis, 11-0.
Yeah, Hyannis losing, that drops the Harbor Hawks now down into last place, which is incredible thinking that from opening day until probably about a week and a half ago, the Harbor Hawks were in sole possession of first place in the West, and just how quickly everything has changed since then.
Mentioned it earlier, but that's probably the ideal situation if you're the Gatemen, just these 4 teams below you just beating each other up. Sure, Katuitt moves above Hyannis, but no one's really gaining ground if that happens.
Well, as long as you keep winning, nobody's going to gain ground.
And Bourne, obviously, a point above Falmouth entering play, so maybe hopeful the Commodores come back to top the Braves, but up by a run right now. The Gatemen are up by 7. A spot for Eli Jones, the lefty, to secure the save.
And either way, if Bourne still wins, you still got a 4-point advantage on the Braves.
Some breathing room, always nice to have. Kai Wagner, defensive change for Garza at second base, so now his first at-bat of the night. Lefty-on-lefty matchup. Lefty Jones misses outside. Eli Jones out of Northwest Florida State. Game number 3 for him of the summer. He's pitching inning and a third, 1 earned run. It was much better his first outing than his most recent. Against YD, allowed a couple of base runners, exited the game without recording an out. 1-2. Two, 3, 4 due up in the order for the Firebirds. Top of the ninth, Jones is 1-2. Weak tapper to second. Randall charges in. Fields cleanly throws to first in time for out number 1. One retired in the top of the ninth. Hey, there's the guy behind the scenes doing it all for us, our producer Chuck Luarasi.
Love you, Chuck.
Our broadcast does not look
and
even...
Abby Smith, don't forget Abby
I was
Smith.
about to say, our broadcast does not begin to look as good as it does without Chuck Luarasi and Abby Smith. Pushing all those buttons, doing everything graphics-wise, production-wise.
We're very lucky.
First one's here at Spillane Field. Typically the last one's out, and credit to the 2 of them. Gatemen 2 outs away from a win. Inside corner, called strike on Elijah Ikas, who's 0 for 3 tonight.
They always just seem to be on their game.
Never an off day. Start to finish, it's hard to believe just after this 9 games are left, but from the very get-go, they've been absolutely tremendous.
Well, Chuck always likes to remind everybody how many games are left because he goes on his tangents about how much he's going to miss everybody.
He's a sentimental guy. He's a sentimental guy.
And it's very sweet, Chuck, but I don't want to think about the end of the season yet.
Well, listen, the way the Gatemen are playing, hopefully, fingers crossed, there's
that
more
season
than...
gets extended a little bit more than August 3rd.
Absolutely. Playoff format, again, it's 4 teams from each division. Last year, that first round, it was single elimination, but it'll be best of 3 each round. Jones comes home. As that one misses low.
And it really is great that moves to best of 3 because one of the most evident things this summer is that everybody can beat everybody.
Yeah, there has not been, despite a couple of win streaks, 2-2 pitch. Lazy fly, shallow right field. Long run. It's going to be Randall pursuing it, but it lands past him and into right field, so a 1-out base hit. You know, the Red Sox won 9 straight, that is, at one point. The Whitecaps began the summer 6 straight wins. The Gatemen rattled off 7 straight wins. But to this point in the season, there's not been one team that's really run away with things, and at the same time, there's not been a team that's really lagged behind in the standings either.
Yeah, and there have been points in time where we may have thought that those couple things would exist. Katuitt had 1 win at the bottom of the West Division through, 7 or 8 games? YD a run, Brewster a run right before that. I mean, everybody's just so tightly knit. But you'll get those losses. Gatemen lost to Katuitt this season. Gatemen have lost everybody this season at some point. Just about every team has lost everyone else.
It should really make the playoffs really interesting across both leagues. 1-1 on Crossland making his second at bat.
And as it stands right now, the Gatemen have only guaranteed themselves losing one season series against a team, and that's Bourne. Down 1-3 right now.
And if
one left.
One series were to have a kind of slight asterisk, you feel like that would be the one. Rivera heads out to the mound because of all the weather that impacted the first two times
if a thunderstorm holds out for another, 5 outs, and then it comes in, and the game goes complete after 6 innings, Gatemen would take that one. That would be 2-2 right now with a rubber match coming up to end the year. But again, I mean, you can't think like that. Everything happens. But just shows how competitive it's all been. The Gatemen just keep playing like the best team in this league.
After the mound visit, a 1-1. Breaking ball that dances outside. Mentioned it. We spent a lot of time talking about some of the subtractions that have already come or are going to be coming in the near future for Wareham, but you really would just never know because they've continued to play so well. Mentioned how this game had the feel of the Chatham game on Tuesday because in all 3 facets of the game, it's been domination. You've allowed just 3 hits, the 1 run. On the other side, you've gotten 12 hits, 8 runs, and neither team's made an error tonight.
It's pretty much perfect baseball over your last 18 innings.
The 3-1. Cracked into center field. Yost making his way back. He's got it. Out number 2, the Gatemen are an out and away.
And even if you want to go back to a little bit of that YD game, the Red Sox got a couple of nice hits, but overall, Wareham played pretty close to flawlessly. It's been a really strong start out of that All-Star break. And again, Cory, we talked about it. They lose to Bourne in that kind of heartbreaking fashion, down by so many runs early. Comeback falls just short. But it's kind of one of those that knocks you back to reality off of that win streak, and you kind of have the entire All-Star break to think about that, or All-Star weekend, rather, just 2 days. But you think about that loss, you sit on it, and then you get back to action on Monday, and what happens? 2 straight wins. That would be 3 straight with 1 more out.
Ever since that loss at Falmouth, it's just been a complete reversal from this Gatemen team. Just that 1 loss to Bourne. They're a strike away. Jones on the mound. Kucherek at the plate. Runner on at first. 2 away. Top of the 9th. Pitch home. Swing and a miss. In the dirt, Rivera fields. Throws to first in time. This stretch run begins with an emphatic 8-1 win over Orleans. And the Gatemen kick off their final 10 games of the regular season with a dominating effort here tonight.
That's 11 of the last 13, Cory. This team is red hot and continue to show no signs of slowing down.
And where do you really want to start when you look at this game?
How about Caden McDonald?
I think it's easy to start with McDonald. He was 1 for 4 the solo shot, but what also stands out, the 5 shutout innings, had been doing it both sides of the ball. Now doing it again in the same game. We said it earlier, just running out of words and ways to describe that guy.
He's incredible. He really is. He pitches well on the mound. He hits a solo home run. And even when he's not contributing, it's just a dangerous bat that you kind of have to respect in the lineup for any opposing pitchers. And it gives everybody else more opportunities to get good hits. Chris McHugh, he was hitless today, but he gave a couple of good ride. Braden Randall, first home run of the season. Everybody just top to bottom in this lineup. Harris Rivera, a couple of hits. This is a great spot to be in for this team with so many new faces and unfamiliar players coming into the picture.
We just said all around another great victory following up that Chatham win, which all 3 facets dominated. Even more so tonight. 8 runs. You give up just 3 hits, not a single error. It all adds up to an 8-1 Gatemen lead over the Firebirds, who coming in were the 2nd hottest team across the Cape.
And now you have another game tomorrow. Again, that's the beauty of baseball, right? You win one, you got another game tomorrow, you got to wipe it. You lose one, you got another game tomorrow, you got to wipe it. Now battle against Katuitt. Cavaliers picked up a big win today, and Gatemen a chance to take another against the Kettleers this summer.
You said it, 6 p.m. first pitch, right back again here at home at Spillane Field. We'll have you covered on Cape League TV and YouTube with all the action. Until then, for Josh Richardson, Chuck Luarasi, Abby Smith, our producers, our sideline reporter, Rayna Maggelet, I'm Cory Miller. Gatemen take this one 8-1 over Orleans. They begin their final stretch of the regular season with a dominating win. Saying good night from Spillane Field. Again, an 8-1 Gatemen win here tonight.